Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar.
I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
Beat the stress with the Planet Fitness Black Card for $22.99 a month and feel great with all the perks, like access to over 2,000 locations. Bring a guest anytime and relax and unwind with massage chairs and more. Your fitness is essential. Join Planet Fitness today and enjoy all the perks of the PF Black Card for zero enrollment and $22.99 a month. Hurry, deal ends November 16th.
Join Planet Fitness today for no enrollment. Hurry offer ends Tuesday, November 16th.
Commitment may apply. See club for details.
Peacock is streaming your favorite shows, movies, live sports, breaking news, exclusive originals, and every live WWE pay-per-view. It's The Office, Chris Lee Knows Best, and Peacock original shows like Punky Brewster. Peacock, watch for free, upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to Gen Exhausted. I'm Chris.
I'm Rich.
Yeah, their second try. You guys don't know. Oops. But I wanted to hear Gorillaz, so I played Gorillaz. It was back when I understood music and what was going on, but music taking the forefront this week in the headlines. Rich, we were talking about Travis Scott.
Yeah, rapper, popular the last 10 years, meaning I have no idea who the fuck he is, nor do I really give a fuck. But he played some festival, Astro World Festival.
I think it's his festival. I think it's a regular occurrence, or at least it has been for at least a couple years.
Well, shockingly, it's in Houston. Houston Astros. But yeah, so apparently people rushed the stage and were crushed. And he kept playing. Now, you just put that headline, print that headline. That seems pretty cut and dry. Yeah, you're an asshole, right? Should stop playing. Well, dude, you and I have both been on stages. I mean, probably the biggest stage I've been on is a couple 1,000-seat theater, and I don't know about you, but if you get a light person up there who's really feeling themselves and them spotlights are going all over the stage, you could look out sometimes in the crowd and see clear almost to the back wall. Other times you got a spotlight in your face and you're blinded. You don't see shit.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes. And unless you're Metallica or something and you got your own fucking lighting guys and pyrotechnic guys and shit, and you have everything fucking choreographed out, you don't know where shit's going to be. Now, I don't know the situation. The videos I've seen 2 videos. One was people rushing the gate to get in, to get, I guess, good spots up front. That's pretty normal. I mean, they take your tickets, they open the gates, and if it's festival seating, it's, get in where you fit in type shit. That was broad daylight. And I saw a video of him supposedly being told that people were dying in the audience, and he just started the next song, and it was Night Out. So I don't know. I mean, I know this isn't the first time this is ever. I mean, this is not like a remote fucking experience that happens once every 50 years or so. I mean, this happens, it seems like, at least once every 5 years at some festival. And I mean, if you have VIP barriers, which are the metal barriers up front, and people start surging forward, if you've ever been in a large crowd, you don't stand against the crowd. I don't care how big and tall you are, how much you weigh. When you are packed in like sardines and the crowd starts moving, you go where that crowd wants you to go.
You sure do.
All right. And if it surges forward and you meet a immovable fucking object like a barrier, people are going to get crushed. And that seems like what's happened. And I think it's not funny that people were crushed and dying, but I do think it's funny that over the years, and Chris, you can speak to this, we both grew up fans of metal, probably punk a little bit more me so than you, but the bad rap that metal and punk bands and their crowds have got all our lives.
Well, I mean, that hill at Pine Knob never stood a chance past Ozfest, as far as the sod goes.
What sod? I don't care about sod. I'm talking about people dying.
Well, no, yeah, but yeah.
I'm not talking about people being dumbasses and getting drunk and tearing up sod. I mean, for a minute there, it was like a panic in the 70s up into the early 80s because started, Altamont. That's a brilliant idea. Hey, we're going to have a music festival full of a bunch of musicians who preach peace and love from the stage. We're going to have the Hells Angels be security.
Yeah.
By the way, this was late 60s. There was no in-ear monitors. There was no fucking wireless.
They essentially hired a gang of criminals to be security for them.
With sawed-off pool cues in their back pockets as, their only equipment. And,
what could go
someone
wrong?
Got beat to death. Someone got beat to death and killed, and the band kept playing because the band had no idea what was going on. It was also, 68, 69, 70, whenever the fuck Altamont was? Okay, 50 fucking years ago, all right? So technology wasn't where it is now. But then this happened. It happened here in Michigan at a Who concert. They opened the doors early, and people got trampled and fucking killed, and when the stampede started. I mean, it's happened at a Pearl Jam concert.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you constantly hear, oh, this is, rock concerts, whatever. For all these all those decades and years when rock was pretty much at the top of the, I won't say the top of the musical food chain as far as pop culture goes, but it was one of the two, three main food groups for a long time. And I mean, just how many times have you been to a metal show, a punk show, whatever the fuck you want to call it? And I know it's happened to me quite a few times. A band's been like, whoa, 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 whoa. If someone goes down, help them up. I mean, you can listen to Slayer's live album, Decade of Aggression, and there's literally in between songs, they're like, if you're in the pit and you see someone go down, help them up. That's the unwritten fucking rule. I mean, it's how it's always pretty much been, unless it's just an ill fucking tempered crowd. And if that's the case, you got bigger problems than people fucking falling down in the pit. You got people looking for an excuse to do damage to other people. So I'm just like, how long have they been saying hip hop artists, rap artists are the new rock stars? That rock stars are dead. Rock is dead. Well, congratulations. Now it's you guys' turn. But so far, I've yet to read any scathing articles how we need to ban hip hop because this happened at a hip hop show. But not that I'd care about those articles anyways, but you get what I'm saying. I just think it's funny because it's like, everybody's acting like, once again, it's the first time this has ever happened in the history of ever. No, it's the first time it's happened to people of your generation.
Well, he allegedly played for like an hour and 10 minutes past all this. But to the crowd, I mean, and I'm with you. A stage that big, you definitely have no idea what's really going on out there. But I guess to the crowd, I mean, like, there's an ambulance, in the crowd. People were like dancing on the ambulance. Like,
so is there going to be in 20 years an HBO documentary talking about how this is toxic transalinity or some shit like that, or this is toxic this or that, or is this somehow going to all be blamed on like everything is nowadays, some bullshit made up term that come out of a sociology department without a trash can in it? Because that's what I'm waiting for. I'm like, where's the usual suspects to come out and blame this on toxic masculinity, on fragile masculinity, on fragile whiteness, on this and that, on the bro culture, on rape culture? Where's all these fucking articles? Because if this had happened with any fucking artist who actually played instruments on stage, that shit would have been coming. That shit would have been already here. And it just shows you, dude. People pick and choose their spots to fucking push their agenda. The truth is, you get a group of people together, you add drugs, you add other intoxicating elements, you put them in a fucking field for the goddamn day, and you play music that they're there to get fucking hyped up and pumped up to, and dumb shit can pop off real fucking quick. And I mean, isn't the irony of the situation that he didn't stop? That's what people are upset about. He didn't stop his concert. And I'm like, isn't this exactly why bands remember the Metallica Guns N' Roses tour in the early 90s when shit would happen and Guns N' Roses would walk off stage or something and like, we're not playing because they're fighting in the crowd or something isn't right and blah, 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 blah. They were like, oh, this is horrible. They could have went out there and saved the day and just kept playing. So what do you want? Do you want the artist to continue on or do you want them to stop? Because if you're asking for the artist to know every intimate detail of what is happening while he's on stage, him or her or they or whatever the fuck is on stage, to be 100% aware of every situation that's happening at that moment, you're asking too fucking much. You're not being realistic. You're setting someone up to fail so you can criticize them, essentially. And I have no love for Travis Scott. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup of one. I don't give a fuck about this guy. But I'll defend if he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, I mean, and then we heard about, there's allegedly people going around, like, injecting. Is that just bullshit added on? Like, have you heard that? People just randomly injecting people?
Yeah, supposedly the new thing for the, I don't know, discerning date rapist out there is because women have, I guess, been taught to protect themselves. So they don't, like, they keep their hand over the top of their cup. They don't set their cups down. So the new thing is to walk around with your date rape drug in a little vial and, like, prick somebody and, like, drug them up that way. Which, if that's the case, and that's what this is, I had to look it up. And I was like, have people been, like, prosecuted for this? Is there like documented incidents, or is this all internet? I heard this happened to a friend, urban legends, and I can't tell you, to be honest. Apparently, there was a problem with this type of behavior with bouncers of all people at clubs in London the last few years, and they staged a pub out or a pub blackout or something where they were just like, we're not going to go to any of these venues that this has happened at. So obviously somebody thought it was a big enough thing to try to get some shit organized. But my question is, what if the bouncers at the show, the bouncers at the front, in front of the fucking, and I love how they call the gate to keep you from the stage the VIP gate. Like, to me, that shows you are the softest generation ever. It can't just be a barrier anymore. That's offensive. It has to be a VIP gate. Right. Well, you're on one side. You ain't on the other side, so you ain't a VIP. So how long until that's offensive? But whatever. I digress. But supposedly the people, the bouncers up front. Oh, that's coming. That's already here. But that's for another show. Apparently the bouncers that, people who get crowd surfing or are getting crushed at the gate, they usually help them over, send them off to the side, and send them back into the crowd. That's how it's been done for decades since I've been going to shows. I'm assuming that's how it's been done now. Apparently, they're the ones with these hypodermic needles poking people and injecting them. And I can't even say people. I guess poking women and injecting them. And I'm thinking, if you're a bouncer in front of, let's say, just pick a nice number, 50,000 people, and you're drugging up women and sending them back into the crowd, what is that benefiting you? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, you're getting other dudes laid.
You're risking a prison sentence for what? For another dude to get his date rape on? Like, to me, this just smacks of, this is like conspiracy theory. Like, this is rape culture conspiracy theory. This is what they're doing. It's all coordinated. It's like, I'm finding that hard to believe. Like, I believe it in a small club, maybe, in a situation, you know what I'm saying, like that, where you can spot somebody, go over there, try to work them. It's not working. They're not fucking responsive, because that's where the date rapists were, they were doing that shit. They were dropping fucking roofies and shit in people's drinks. I don't know the fucking stats, but there are studies out there. Look them up your fucking damn self. I'm not your goddamn Google. But I mean, I know people that had been at clubs here in Michigan that no longer exist. Motor being one of them, that got drugged. We had to carry her out. And I was like, what? She had like 2 drinks. And this bitch could drink like me almost. 2 drinks wasn't going to do that to her. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, this is bullshit.
Maybe they were doubles.
Yeah. Well, doubles of fucking Everclear. I doubt even then we would have to carry her out after fucking 4 shots of Everclear.
Damn. So gotcha. Liver of steel.
No, this bitch could drink, bro. Seriously. Like, one of the few that could keep up. One of the few people, male or female, that could keep up with me. Like, in my prime. So, yeah.
It's like you bring your case. You're like, here's what I got. She whips out the 30-pack. Like, all right, pussy.
Pretty much. I used to show up 2 cases. This is mine. Don't touch it. This is for the party. When mine runs out, what's left of the party one is now mine also. So drink quick. And everyone's like, well, you're going to have half a case because we can't drink as quick as you. And I'm already on my third beer just as they said that. So yeah, it was a problem. But no, man, I mean, dude, you and I, come on, man. We've been on stages. We've been blinded by fucking lights. You got people, I mean, especially if it's a lively crowd.
Oh, and the band I was in loved to drink, so throw in drunk for me.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and guess that a guy who's playing a festival like this, especially if it's his fucking festival, he's used to being in front of crowds like this anymore. So unless it's like a crowd that's really hyped to see him, that's got him amped up, I'm taking the wow factor out of it for his situation. Like, as civilians, musicians want you to think that every performance is special. No, the fuck it's not. It is slapping on a fucking plastic smile and plowing through shit that you could play in your fucking sleep.
Yeah.
To entertain brain dead fucking idiots for the most part, who aren't interested in anything going on the stage, or just trying to talk to the bitch who's actually there to see your band.
And what you say with the wow factor, Travis Scott has played the Super Bowl. I don't think he's played to a small crowd in a while.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say that's gone. I'm not buying it, he was overwhelmed and in the moment. But I'll still say, we don't know everything that happened. And this is, once again, the rush to judgment type shit by people who, just to be blunt, have no fucking idea what they're talking about. Most of these people will never stand on a stage in front of more people than they did when they were given a book report in school. That's about it. Like, it's a different feeling to look out over 1,500, 2,000 people and realize from the wings of the stage, oh shit, I'm going to be playing in front of them in like 2 minutes. That's a different feeling than being in the crowd going, I know exactly what that's like. Yeah, well, you don't know what it's like to be on the stage in front of that crowd and all the chaos that happens. Now, the one video I did see of not this Astroworld Festival, but it was of Travis Scott from like a couple of years ago, I guess, didn't paint him in the best light. He was at some Hot 97 festival, so wherever that fucking radio station's at, their festival, and it was daytime. So you could see clear as day on the stage, and there was a cameraman. When I say camera, I don't mean video. I mean click, click, cameraman, with all his credentials hanging around his neck from like kind of off to the side in the back of the stage taking pictures. And Travis Scott turned around and, hey, motherfucker, I don't know you. Get the fuck off the stage. I don't give a fuck who you work for. I don't give a fuck who's paying you to take pictures. I'm an artist. Get the fuck off the stage. And I was like, okay, you're a dick, dude. Like, that guy, that guy's just, dude, this ain't your first fucking time on stage. You know what those credentials mean. You know what that camera in his hand means. You know what he's there for. You're being a dick. So based on the evidence I got, sounds like he was just indifferent. Okay. People are getting fucked up in the crowd. What do you want me to do about it? Show must go on. Seems like that type of situation. Seems like that type of guy. This is going to come off as cold. Don't know how you feel about it, Chris, but you don't want a chance to be caught up in a situation like that? Don't go to shows like that.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of... there were definitely shows that we went to. If you went to them, you didn't go in the pit, man. Slayer was one of them. Like, I don't feel like getting kicked in the head tonight. I'm here to see Slayer. I will be in the back drinking beer, jamming.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's a couple local bands that their shows got legendary for how rowdy they got. And me and an ex used to go. And when we went, we knew all the guys in the band. So, we're up front. And if it got really fucking bad, I had to do every guy knows this. If you've had a girlfriend and taken her to one of these shows where you grab the fucking barrier and you basically brace your arms and keep her between you and the barrier.
Oh, yeah.
Keep her from getting crushed. And if it's really out of fucking control, then you got to grab her and be like,
we got to go.
Don't fight me. We're walking to the edge.
Yeah.
Keep walking until I stop. Because, if they start fucking, what are you doing? And get into some woman's right bullshit, that's when I just let them get their ass beat. And they shut the fuck up next time I do it. Because then I'm like, you want your ass beat again? These motherfuckers don't care. They're swinging for the fences and they don't care who they hit. I will leave you here and I will get the fuck out of here. And your empowered ass can take the ass whooping you so rightly deserve.
I always did the battering ram, where I made them wrap their arms around me, and I'd fucking just made the path. I said, I like bear hug their arms around mine, so I knew if they let go. It's like, just fucking hold on and just, I'll get it, because I'm a stocky dude. I just, in situations like that, just sometimes you just got to fall forward. Fall forward.
Oh, you did it.
Let your momentum take you where you're going to go, and then fucking adjust from there.
You and I did the same thing. We just did it two different ways. The ex I'm talking about, she would wrap her arms around me, facing me, and I'd pretty much like put one arm around her torso,
used her as the
one arm around her, one arm around the head. Well, no, because my legs have always been stupid strong, and I just push with my back through the fucking crowd.
You go backwards. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, same fucking thing. It's just we were facing each other.
Yeah, we just went different directions.
Because if she went limp, if she got hit, or if something was coming at her, I wanted a chance to try to deflect it because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. She wasn't a fighter. This wasn't the toughest chick I dated. So if someone was on the crowd and someone, was wearing some fucking Doc Martens with some steel toes and she caught it upside the side of the head, there's a chance I could be sitting in the hospital with her for a couple days. And just to be further honest, she wasn't the most aware person of her surroundings. Still isn't to this day. I mean, so it was just like, all right, come on. So I just kind of treated her like a little kid. And just put my back to the crowd. And most people got the point, especially once they saw, oh, he's okay. Yeah. All right. Get out of his way. And on top of that, you're a burly dude. I'm a burly dude. I barrel into you with some fucking intent with my legs, doing most of the pushing. Yeah, most people got the fuck out my way after the first bump.
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah. There's 9 times out of 10. I also pick my battles. I wasn't trying to get someone out of my way bigger than me. All right, we got to stop here. I'm not moving this guy. We have to find a new path.
Well, yeah, but also being a bigger guy in a crowd, and this was just 90s etiquette. I don't know if it's still like this. You're getting asked, once you help one person get up on top of the crowd, you're getting asked all night, hey, could you and this other Andre the Giant looking motherfucker put me on the crowd? And I'm like, bitch, you just realize I'm wide, right? I ain't tall. Yeah. I'm not like 7 foot fucking tall, but all right, come on. Okay, come on. It's like, all right, man, someone else got to start putting people up, man. I haven't even heard fucking any songs and they've been playing for 30 minutes. But I think it's funny that the reaction, I guess, is this like horrified gasp from certain corners of the internet, because I guess this is the first time they've ever seen anything like this up close and personal because of cell phone cameras and shit. And they're seeing, like, there was people getting work done in the crowd, like getting chest compressions done while he's playing to the beat of the music. I mean, it was the one video, the guy talking about the video was like, I hate to point this out because it's some gallows humor shit, but they're literally doing chest compressions to the beat of the song. Watch. And then he played it, and I'm like, yeah, that EMT, he's got good rhythm.
Yeah. Was he black?
No, not that I could tell. I mean, I don't know. He could have been Latino. I don't know. But if he was black.
Some race with
rhythm. He was a Mariah Carey black. Like he wasn't like Wesley Snipes black, so, but no, I'm just like, do people not realize this is what happens when you get this many people fucking together? This is why the narrative on that HBO show about Woodstock 99 pissed me off so much, especially once I went back and rewatched it and looked up the artists they were talking to, artists who, like in Moby's case, was there for a matter of hours, and yet he's speaking with authority like he was watching firsthand the entire fucking 4 or 5 days this played out. He was front row. Dude, you were there for a few hours. You spun a chill out set in the chill out tent, and you left. Fuck off, dude. Like, I get it. He's the closest thing y'all EDM motherfuckers have to, from back then, especially as a rock star and shit, and all this, but really, like, he's full of shit, dude. And on top of that, Mr. and Mrs. people who want to cancel everybody, did y'all forget that he was dating Natalie Portman when she was underage? Or are we just not going to talk about that?
Right. Well,
so
everyone always Seinfeld gets a pass for nailing a 17-year-old. Everyone always forgets about that one.
It's selective outrage.
Yeah.
And really, here's the honest part. Whether they want to hear it or not. Is it legal in the state they're in? What's the statutory rape laws? Because there's some states that, at least till a couple of years ago, they were as low as 13. Here in Michigan, in the 90s, it was 16. I know that. I had some friends get caught up in some bullshit. So I was like, nope, ID or fuck off. You look way too young. Sorry. Oh, you're an asshole. But I ain't going to have a stretched out asshole for 5 years. So
correct.
You go ahead. Yep. Because, sorry. Your pussy ain't worth it. Ain't one woman out there worth doing 1 day in fucking prison. Just ain't. I know they like to think that, like, they throw their shit up in the air and it becomes sunshine. It doesn't, sweetheart. And even non-biological women have pussies now. Okay. We have a bigger menu. All right. We don't need yours own. But yeah, dude, I'm just like, okay, all this outrage is all these people. Oh, this was horrible. This was this. We can't believe this. The show should have been stopped. The police should have been called immediately. And I'm like,
It's fun.
Go ahead, because I think our minds went to the same place when I heard about, especially the police need to be called immediately.
Well, the generation that is invented and makes fun of Karens, isn't it acting very Karen-esque?
Bingo.
And then too, yeah, all this reference for the police now as well. Last summer, weren't you calling to abolish the police?
All cops are bastards, ACAB, and all cops are fascist this, fascist this, fascist this, Nazi this. Oh, but now all of a sudden your lily white ass, who overpaid for a concert ticket, is getting crushed, and now all of a sudden they got to come rushing to the fucking to be your savior. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? See, this is the problem when we let context and nuance be destroyed in this in our culture, is that we get these basically the equivalent to monosyllabic conversations with fucking functional retards. People who cannot conceive of anything that's not right, wrong, black, white, ones and zeros. For a bunch of people who want to completely abolish binary gender, boy, they want the rest of the world to be binary. Just either or. That's it. There's 2 types of people in this world. No, a lot more than 2. But you tell yourself whatever you got to tell yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you. Worst concert I've ever been to was a local one. I saw someone get a compound fracture because the stage was about shin high and they got bent forward over the stage mid shin. Yep. And it came right through the skin. Ooh. And there was a trail of blood from that spot out the front door where his buddies drug him outside and the EMTs fucking stabilized him and took him off. And I have no idea what happened. At least 2 people I know have got their nose broke. And yeah. That was a little coffee house. So.
Not just the standard people getting kicked in the teeth, all that shit. Black eye. And it usually was the people because I didn't hang. Yeah, my crowd wasn't trying to mix it up like that. We were there to drink and have a good time. There was only certain bands, like went and saw Clutch and they played the Machine Shop. There were definitely certain bands where like, okay, we're getting down front. Fuck this. But it wasn't. But you didn't enjoy a show like that as much because half of it was just trying to stay on your feet. You're trying to enjoy the show, but also at the same time, you're trying to not, I don't know, end up on the floor with 100 motherfuckers trampling you.
Well, yeah, that's what. And this show, like we thought, was like, yeah, okay, there's gonna be, it's a fucking metal band in it. Is the Wired Frog? People not from Michigan. Yeah. Wired Frog was a coffee house for like younger bands with younger fan bases who were under 21. To play. And yeah, it was the Wired Frog.
I'm from the East Side, bro. I totally know about the Wired Frog.
Yeah, Factory 81, Too Many Gods.
Oh, I remember that show.
And I think Muzzle Inc. were all playing. And when Factory took the stage, that's when all this shit happened. And I was like, oh shit, I've been to Pantera and it wasn't this violent. Well, that was one of the shows. I looked at my girl at the time, and I'm like, we're going to be moving you to the side of the stage. Like, come on.
You ever actually played a show at the Wired Frog?
No, I never played there.
Security was a little lax.
Oh, yeah. Dude, they had the couch up on the crowd. They were pulling shit off the walls. There's no booze served at this place.
Yeah, because it was for teenagers.
Yes. It was the rowdiest fucking concert I've ever been to, and I'm sure someone was drunk. Someone probably pre-gamed in the parking lot or whatever. But they weren't serving booze.
No,
Weed wasn't even legal.
It was one of the few all-ages venues you could play as a band. If you wanted the kids to come check out your band, you played a show at the Wired Frog.
Yeah, and it was the most violent show I'd ever been to as far as the crowd goes. So that just goes to show you there's no hard and fast this equals this rule to this type of shit. And anybody who's been in the middle of a fucking crowd knows that that's like, the summer of 2020 with the mostly peaceful rioting and shit. I'm like, people there during the day were just protesting. Then it turned into riots as the night went on. And all it takes is 4 or 5 fucking strategically placed people to get the crowd fired up, and then the crowd takes over and it has a mind of its own. Have you never been to a fucking festival? Have you never been to a large venue show? I mean, there's been shows I've walked into where I've just been like, we have main floor tickets with festival seating, but I'm not going on the main. This is just a vibe in this fucking place that is not, like, this is like hurt people vibe. Like, usually you go to a show, people are smiling, people are happy, they're going out, they're dressed up. Especially here in the Midwest, because us motherfuckers are ignorant. We get suited and booted for nonsense. So everybody's got their Best Affliction shirt on and shit. And, this was a show in the fucking, 2000s in Michigan. This is the type of people you saw. When you walk in and it's just a bunch of motherfuckers. First of all, it's a sausage fest, no women. That's usually either you're seeing like Dinosaur Jr. level of nerdiness, music nerd shit, or women know better than to show up because these guys are here with just ill intent. And
there's just 2 yards and yards of black fabric as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. Like when you go to a deicide show, don't bring your girlfriend unless she's really into deicide. If she's into deicide,
that's what we like to call a keeper.
She knows what the fuck she's getting into. She could probably handle herself, is what I'm saying. Like the community surrounding the type of shit you're into. You know what to expect. But I mean, I've walked into venues and been like, I'm not getting on the main floor. That's not happening.
Yeah.
That's just not. I'm like, I don't care if I got tickets for it.
Yeah, really, I'm not going down there. Yeah.
Nope.
I'm not even going down there and standing in the back. Nope.
I mean, I think the last time I got anywhere close to a pit, a buddy of mine's wife was working for Live Nation, and she was basically running St. Andrews Hall, which is like a smaller venue here in Detroit. And Korn came to town. We're playing State Theater, which is the bigger version of St. Andrews Hall. And he got tickets through her work. She couldn't go, and he asked me at the last minute to go. And I'm like, if this was 95, this would be awesome. Like, it's Korn, bro. It's 2015.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them wheel their walkers on stage. He's like, just come with me, man. Come with me. Okay. So we go, and he's like, let's get down there before. And some band like Suicide Silence or something was opening, and I was like, yep, no, not my thing. So I'm just hanging back by the bar. And then finally, like, they get done. Korn's coming up next. Let's go down on the main floor, man. Come on, man. I'm like, bro, I am almost 40 years old. What the fuck am I going to do on the main floor at a Korn concert besides get my ass hurt? Come on, man. Come on. All right, fuck it. So we went down. We got maybe 15 yards from the front of the stage. Couldn't get any closer. I mean, unless we would just agree that we're going to fight whoever doesn't get out of our way. And just started walking up and pushing people out of the way. Korn come out, opened with Blind. I got about 30, 40 seconds of seeing that pit about 5-10 yards from me. It was like, I'm going back, sit at the fucking table. I'm good. Like, dude, on the tickets, they print them. You walk in here. You're assuming the risk yourself. Like,
yeah, that's been kind of the deal that we've made with venues since like the 90s, right?
Pretty much. I mean, you go to a baseball game, go to a hockey game, and it says right on the ticket, and it says right on the inside of the glass on the ice, objects may fly into the stands. Be prepared, be aware, blah, blah, blah. And then yet it's what? At least once every couple seasons, we hear some story about somebody getting hit with a puck or hit with a baseball bat, and the usual suspects come out and sue the fuck out of them. They don't have a leg to stand on, dude. They don't. Now, if there was lack of security that brought upon this situation, then yeah, okay. Someone fucked up. Someone's got to pay. I get that. But if this was just a bunch of dumbass concert goers trying to fucking get closer to the stage and pure fuckery ensued, why is this a national story? I mean, that's just people bringing their own bad luck on themselves, isn't it?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I know. There's really not much more to say, dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say. I mean,
it's generation butthurt, man. I mean, I get it. Like people died. Trust me, we're not like made of stone here. It sucks that people died, but it's happened before. I mean, true. And I think what might hurt Travis Scott is I heard security guards really had stopped checking for wristbands. I heard he was encouraging people to come on down whether they paid or not. That might hurt him. But then weren't they saying at Woodstock, were people rushing gates and shit at Woodstock 2000?
People were rushing gates and cut down the gates at the original Woodstock.
Yeah, that one eventually they just said it was free.
And Woodstock 94. So I think Woodstock 99 was on a military base. That's one of the reasons they chose the military base in Rome, New York. And I didn't personally serve on that military base, but I lived 15, 20 minutes from that military base when I lived in New York. So I was very aware there's a well-protected military base, because I made a joke one time. There's an abandoned military base around here. Let's go. I'm being from Michigan. Here in Michigan, on the west side of Detroit, we had a giant mental hospital in a town called Northville. And underneath the hospital, they had tunnels to move people between buildings and shit. And they tore down a lot of the buildings and they left the tunnels. So for decades, you could go run around in the Northville tunnels. I'm thinking, like, I was just joking. Like, let's go to a military base, run around like it's Northville tunnels. And they were like, you'll get your ass shot. You're more than welcome to get your head blown off. Go ahead. That's still United States government property. They're not going to let you out there just to fucking run around like a fool. So I'm pretty sure that was the reason that they chose that site, because they could definitely control the flow of who was coming in and who wasn't. At least a lot better than they did 69 and 94.
Mm-hmm.
But looking this shit up as we're talking about it, it's Fox News. Do with that what you will. Supposedly he removed I misread that. Travis Scott removed a handful of social posts where he encourages fans to be safe. Let's see here. The rapper removed several Instagram posts following a TMZ report that highlighted photos of people injured or passed out at his concerts. That's plural, not singular. Along with captions in which he praised them and others for the rowdiness of his concerts. The outlet reports that some of the photos included captions like, "She broke her hand and doesn't give a fuck. It's not a show until someone passes out." Scott also had previously been in legal trouble in 2015, 2017 for allegedly inciting his crowd. 2019 Astroworld Festival saw 3 people sent to the hospital after being trampled in the stampede of people trying to get into the same venue. So, and a 22-year-old college senior has not shown any brain activity since arriving at the emergency room after being injured at the festival. Once one person fell. This is speaking to ABC 13. The family laid out the horrific chain of events that put Barty in peril. She and her sister, Namrata, Namrata, sure, and her cousin Mohit Bellani, Mohitbellani, Mohit Bellani. Once again, sure. Attended the concert together, but lost each other in the crowd surge that led to injuries and turned the situation deadly. Once one person fell, people started toppling like dominoes. It was like a sinkhole. People were falling on top of each other. There were layers and layers of bodies on the ground, like 2 people thick. We were fighting to come up to the top to breathe and stay alive. And then Travis Scott claims he didn't know the severity of Astroworld tragedy when attending an after party. During the rapper's performance in Houston at the Astroworld Music Festival, the crowd reportedly surged, ultimately resulting in the death of 8 attendees, ages 14 to 27. 14? The fuck is a 14-year-old doing at a fucking all-day festival?
I mean, there's that.
Like, seriously. Are your parents there? Because I kind of well, maybe. If they had them when they were like 15. I guess conceivable. No, serious. I'm not what? It don't fucking happen?
No.
In fucking Texas?
It's true.
Come on, man. Houston. Yeah, Houston. Yeah, okay. Like Houston's, it's still in the South. Stop. Here we go. After the concert, rapper Drake, who also performed at the venue or at the festival, reportedly hosted an after party at Dave and Buster's. That's kind of budget for Drake, isn't it?
I say, yeah, Drake, I thought you've outsold like Michael Jackson and the Beatles. Really? Dave and Buster's?
Yeah.
Maybe Drake just has terrible taste.
Yeah, it says Scott attended that after the chaos out during his show. Okay, you can go fuck yourself for auto-playing that video. After the concert, Travis didn't know the severity of the situation when he arrived at the after party as far as timing. This remains consistent with the fact that no one, including the police, had publicly confirmed the gravity of the events that had taken place. So, I mean, doesn't this kind of go in with what I was saying? Like, all these people that are hopping online and calling for, people's heads and people to be fired. And I'm like, do you even know the situation? Was he aware of the situation? I mean, granted, his social media and his videos that I've seen don't paint him as a very empathetic person towards the crowd. As far as them getting rowdy and being like, okay, calm down, guys. That's enough. No, we'll have none of that. He ain't one of those people, but it's just, I don't know, dude. Is this just a slow news week? Is this what this is? Because to me, this just feels like this should be a blip in the news and it's horrible. And some people's family are going to get paid down the line from somebody. But to me, this isn't like earth-changing, oh my God.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar. I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
An orthopedic surgeon can replace a damaged joint, but they can't replace time. That's why you need a surgeon who's close to home. Do it right. Here, visit rwjbh.org/ortho. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Beat the stress with the Planet Fitness Black Card for $22.99 a month and feel great with all the perks, like access to over 2,000 locations. Bring a guest anytime and relax and unwind with massage chairs and more. Your fitness is essential. Join Planet Fitness today and enjoy all the perks of the PF Black Card for zero enrollment and $22.99 a month. Hurry, deal ends November 16th.
Join Planet Fitness today for no enrollment. Hurry offer ends Tuesday, November 16th.
Commitment may apply. See club for details.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar. I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
And now, breaking news from migraine sufferer Whoopi Goldberg about Nurtec ODT Rimegepant 75 milligrams.
I got big news. Now Nurtec ODT is the first and only medication proven to treat and prevent migraines. This is big time.
Don't take if allergic to Nurtec ODT. The most common side effects were nausea, stomach pain, and indigestion. For important safety information, prescribing information, and patient information, visit Nurtec.com. Ask your doctor about Nurtec today.
Nurtec, baby.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
You know what this is? Maybe this is because I've compared millennials and shit to baby boomers. Maybe this is like them blowing something out of proportion. Like Altamont was the end of the hippie and all this, the end of the peace and love movement, all this shit. Really? Did you ever really have a peace and love movement? Did that peace and love movement extend farther than a couple festivals and some dorm rooms? Did it really? I mean, did this wake you up to how the real world works? I hate to be that guy, but this is what happens when you put a bunch of people who don't know each other into situations, feed them booze, and let them loose, dude. Why is this shocking?
Yeah, maybe it's their age. They don't know yet.
There's no excuse at this point, dude. You are pretty much issued a cell phone at birth anymore in this country. The world of knowledge is at your fingertips. You will Google how to fucking make the perfect scrambled eggs and watch a 20-minute video on how to fucking make scrambled eggs, in a minute and a half. But you can't read up on fucking festival safety, on what not to do. I mean, didn't we have a name for this? This is just people that's like, I don't need the instructions. And next thing you know, and that's how I ended up in the ICU. Well, then you're an idiot, dude. You should have read the fucking instructions. I like, to me, I'm just like, and our co-host who isn't here today, I did talk to him on the phone, and he was like all about this story. And I'm just like, what am I missing here? Yeah, is it fucked up? People died? Absolutely. But how's this any different than any other fucking incident that this has happened over the years at festivals?
Yeah, it's not like he fucking was on the mic like, fuck these people, we're still rocking. Like, I think that's what he's trying to get at. Like, there was that kind of attitude going on.
Well,
I think it's closer to he didn't know what the fuck was going on. A stage that big, you just look out and you see black, especially with those big-ass lighting rigs.
Well, sure. I mean, it sucks for the families and the people that were hurt and killed. I understand all that. But I mean, let's be honest here. What do you want to happen? He ain't going to do one day at a time for this. The best way, like even if people, like a prosecutor gets it in his head that it is solely Travis Scott's fault this happened, he ain't going to see the inside of a jail cell. The best you're going to do is what? Go after an insurance company that the company was insured through, the venue, whatever the fuck, security, whoever. That's the best is going to happen. Maybe some like, throw you a bone, new regulations like, okay, you can't have festival seating. Okay, go ahead and put seats. Go ahead and put folding chairs at a festival and see how well that works. Okay, do I need to go back and watch the Boondocks? Why is it every time someone throws a fucking folding chair, shit pops off? That's what's going to happen. You start putting folding chairs at a fucking festival. It's going to be the fucking Source Awards. Go ahead, have fun. Like, serious. So this is like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I am being an asshole. But being an asshole just means I'm telling the truth. This is what the fuck happens at these type of fucking places. This is always this is what I tell people. You linger under the delusion of safety. You think you're safe. You're really not. Like, everything on this planet is pretty much trying to kill you at some point in your life. End of story. It's just we have insulated ourselves from the reality of that so well. We've convinced ourselves that we are entitled to safety. No, the fuck we're not. Safety is not the natural order of things. Go try to herd cats and tell me about safety being the natural order of things, okay?
Watch a nature film with lions and gazelles.
Tell me
about safety.
I'll do you better than that. Go sit in the corner in a ghillie suit to where the little kids can't see you of any elementary school at recess and tell me how safety rules everything, how you're entitled to safety. Even with nerfing the world, it ain't safe on a fucking playground still. And they've rounded the edges and taken away every fucking violent fucking sport or activity they could do. And there's kids still out there breaking arms, breaking legs, breaking their noses, falling off of shit, beating the shit out of each other. It's just called the world, folks. And it's a contact sport. Either keep your ass on the bench or put on a set of pads and hit somebody. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's my like head scratching going, I don't understand, isn't the fact that this happened. It's the response to it. And the only thing it can come down to is this is that narcissistic bullshit that we all suffer from in our society. And we don't care until it affects us. And these are a bunch of people who thought that this would never happen to them. Now it affected them. So, oh my God, the whole world's got to change because they went through something that was traumatic. Welcome to the club, pal.
Yeah. Welcome to the world the rest of us have been living in. It's called reality. You're going to hate it.
Yeah, you think adulting is hard? Okay. Well, wait till reality comes and fucks you up the ass. Then we can have that conversation. Well, speaking of reality here, this is kind of right in your wheelhouse, so I'm going to let you run with this and carry this. You pointed out the inflation that has been going on in the price of, well, everything.
Biggest in 30 years.
Take it away.
Biggest jump in 30 years. And we were told it wasn't going to happen. All last summer, and all this money, free money was being given out. And all these wages are going up. No, it's good for the economy. It won't happen. Bullshit. It's all math, ladies and gentlemen. It is all basic arithmetic. Economic theory is not hard. It is mostly addition and subtraction. little multiplication thrown in there. Rich, read the article. I told you had an article that you wanted to save for the show. I think this is the perfect time for this article.
I'm going to try to edit in real time as I go, because I get the feeling this is going to be an article that's going to be full of fluff and bullshit. Title of the article: How COVID became the unlikely hero of our inflation crisis. The case for not painting the inflation we're seeing as some mysterious, disastrous affliction that's descended on the economy. The message Americans have been getting about inflation from recent months can be summed up in 4 words: be afraid, very afraid. It's a message that much of the media has been happy to spread, epitomized by an odd segment about rising food prices that CNN ran last week. See, this is where I'm already right here. I'm already like, why is that odd? It's a fucking fact.
Yeah.
So facts are odd.
That's MSNBC, folks. So we give you the same disclaimer we just gave you on the Fox News story.
It's just the other side. The segment was supposed to show, in the words of a much mocked tweet promoting it, because that's how I decide everything that's important, how badly inflation is hitting the middle class. But instead of looking at a typical sized middle class American family, it focused on a Texas family with 9 kids, one that buys 12 gallons of milk a week. In the process, the segment succumbed to one of the media's worst tendencies, taking a real issue and overhyping it beyond recognition. Oh, you mean kind of like
what you do?
Yeah, your business model since, I don't know, what? When was the fairness doctrine struck down? The increase in food and gas prices that we've seen over the past 8 months is real and meaningful. Inflation hawks have been telling scary stories about the impending inflation ever since the Federal Reserve slashed rates to near zero during the financial crisis of 2008 and 9. For once, they're not making things up. Inflation is now running at a little more than 5%, driven largely by energy prices and food prices, which in September were up roughly 4.6% over a year ago. I understand that our attention spans are that of goldfish thanks to like social media and technology these days, and that's just a fact. I'm not selling wolf tickets here, folks. Look up the studies. But didn't you just say it was an odd segment about rising food prices in the previous paragraph? Now all of a sudden you're going, where they're driven largely by energy and food prices, which have gone up 5% year over year every year.
Yeah. So which is it, MSNBC? Is it odd, or is it something that's been happening?
And then it goes on, and the price of some food items, most notably beef, have risen even more sharply than that. Oh, okay. So looking at the way inflation is crimping household budgets makes perfect sense. Unfortunately, doing it the way CNN did is likely to confuse and frighten viewers rather than enlighten them. To begin with, even if you set aside the oddity of focusing on a household that's they're talking about the oddness of the story was focusing on a household that's 3 times the size of the average household. At least that's their escape hatch they gave themselves. Meaning that it's going to be unusually sensitive to the impact of inflation on the price of something like milk. The picture of inflation it offers seems dramatically overstated. According to the family in the segment, the price of milk where they shop has risen a full 50% since June, while their overall grocery bill has risen 50 to 100% since March. Obviously, food prices vary quite a bit region by region. Milk prices in particular are weirdly variable across the country. But according to USDA, the price of milk in the Dallas area is up about 10%, not 50% since June. Anecdotal evidence, a complete aside, I just want to say this. The other day, I was sent to the store to grab some basics. Milk was one of them. I paid $5 for a gallon of milk.
You know what the story isn't going to tell you?
Do with that what you will.
Cost of living in Texas is cheaper than the rest of the country. They're going to leave. Yeah. They're going to leave that out because it's not going to help them be right.
And if the average grocery bill had in fact risen by as much as 100% in the last 7 months, inflation would be a lot higher than 5%. Of course, having the price of something you buy a ton of rise 10 to 20% in a matter of months hurts, but that's the point. It's enough to talk about the inflation we actually do have, inflation that we really had to deal with for more than a decade. You don't need to, as it were, over-egg the pudding. At the same time, any discussion of inflation needs to include the context in which it's happening. Historically, recessions have left Americans poorer, not better off. But the COVID recession was different. As people shifting their habits drastically in response to the pandemic, they spent much less and saved more. Even though millions of Americans lost their job, enhanced unemployment benefits and stimulus payments left many of them better off, not worse, and the stock market, after initially falling, boomed. The result of all this was that Americans ended 2020 13.5 trillion richer than they were at the beginning of the year. How much of that went to the people who were at the top of the pyramid compared to the people at the bottom? That's what I'm wondering. But okay. Most of that wealth increase went, of course, to the already wealthy. Oh, okay. But lower income households benefited too. Well, this runs counter to your fucking narrative that capitalism is evil and whatever.
Well, no, because they're going to tie it into socialism because the government gave them the money. That's coming.
Okay. The J.P. Morgan Chase Institute found, for instance, that the bottom 25% of income earners had 50% more in their checking accounts in October 2020 than they did a year earlier. So lots of Americans came into 2021 with money in their pockets. And since then, we've seen the sharpest recovery from a recession since World War II. One that's driven the unemployment rate down to 4.6% and wages up almost 5% year over year. What all this means is that American consumers are, relatively speaking, flush, and that strong demand for goods and services is sending prices higher. But it's taking manufacturers and food producers time to increase supply after cutting back production during the pandemic. When you have high demand and relatively low supply, prices go up. The inflation we're seeing is not, then, some mysterious affliction that's descended on the economy. It's a predictable product of the economy's rapid recovery.
But we were told it wasn't going to happen. Probably by you a year ago, MSNBC.
And that's
of course, the rub. I'm not mad that it's happening. I'm mad that we were told, no, there's going to be more money. This is great for everybody. Okay, it was people in denial because they wanted to start riding that socialism train. No, it fucking happened, and it's happening now. That's what I'm salty. Sorry.
No, it's fair. When you have high demand, low supply, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's a predictable product of the economy's rapid recovery, and its costs have been offset by a large degree by robust wage growth and government policies. Providing that context rather than just telling scary stories is important, not just because it's accurate. It's important not just because it's accurate. That doesn't, okay, whatever. It's also important because when people see inflation as a force that's disconnected from the underlying economy, their inflation expectations are likely to rise. When inflation expectations rise, actual inflation tends to follow. If a business owner thinks that prices are going to jump 5% next year, they're going to hike prices 5% in anticipation. That kind of thinking sets off the kind of vicious cycle we want to avoid. So instead of telling people to be afraid, maybe telling them to be concerned. Maybe tell them to be concerned.
Okay.
Sort of concerned.
Fuckface.
Even if they're buying 12 gallons of milk a week. By the way, I just want to point out real quick. If a business owner thinks prices are going to jump 5% next year, they're going to hike prices 5% in anticipation. Now, is that horrible? Capitalism kills, fuck straight white men somehow, like, are all, to blame for this shit? Or is that, is this the fruits that you have sown and so you're finally reaping them of my truth, not the truth, not there is right, there is wrong, it's my truth. So their truth is prices are going to jump 5%, so they act accordingly. That's their truth.
No, they're not.
How dare you attack them for living their truth?
Well, that's one way to look at it, but I'm telling these people, no, they're not. This shit gets me worked up. There's been this, and it's fine, right? Because people do have the right to make a decent wage, to make a decent living, right? People should be able to do that. But there has been this push for the last 5 or so years to start paying people outrageous amounts of money for jobs where they don't deserve them. Trust me, we've had this conversation. I think there's some jobs, I think there's some minimum wage jobs, like I said, like EMTs, like home health care workers. Yeah, those people should be making $50,000 a year. Okay? Those people do shit. Those people do things you can't pluck a 16-year-old off the street and train them to do. Okay? I'm talking, but all right, like it or not, labor is a cost of doing business. If part of the cost of doing business goes up, you're going to pass the cost on to the consumer. These aren't people going, oh, prices are going to jump 5% next year, so I'm raising. No, they now have to pay, I don't know, maybe 5% more in wages than they did last year. So they're going to offset that cost. That's how it works. Math, people, math. Addition, subtraction. It's not that hard to wrap your brain around. If they're taking more money away from their operating budget, they're going to replace it, and you're going to pay it, consumer. That's how it works. You know how there's no dollar menus anymore? That's a symptom of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 10 years ago, a buddy of mine, we were going someplace, and he's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, we got time to drive through get something to eat. Where do you want to fucking stop? He's like, I don't know. Like it was McDonald's or Burger King or something. Okay, fine, whatever. So we pull up. I'm like, order what you want. So he orders, and he gets what he always gets. Same order. And I've known this, well, before he died. I knew this guy since 1992. So, I mean, you know, he always ordered the same thing, creature ahead. And he gets the price, and he was like, holy shit, man, it's been a while. He was a bit of a shut-in later in his years. So he hadn't been out in a while. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I guess the days of $5 fucking value meals are gone. And I'm like, bro, it's 2012. They haven't been around for fucking better part of this last decade. What are you talking about? Now you pull in and it's $10, $11 for a fucking meal.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm not an economist. I'm not even going to try to fucking front and act like I'm going to dip my fucking dick into this fucking bowl of Listerine and come up with anything worth fucking. But I can say this. If you want people to be paid a quote unquote living wage, then you have to understand this is what's going to happen.
You're going to pay for
it. Or businesses will shut down and we will all work for Walmart,
yes,
Disney,
Rich,
Microsoft.
How many years have I been screaming? People on that side of this argument usually hate corporations, right? The irony is that is all that will be left if they get their way. It's all going to be McDonald's, Starbucks, Walmart.
Like I said, I found this subreddit called Anti-Work, and the hatred is just across the board. There's no such thing as a good mom and pop place. Mom and pop places have artificially inflated prices. They don't have the workforce. There's no reason for it. Blah, blah, blah. These people have an answer for everything. And basically the answer is anybody who makes a profit, who employs another person, is the scum of the earth.
Oh, then move. Because the United States ain't for you. I mean,
you know that's not going to happen because they can't get away with this shit anywhere else.
Yeah.
Oh, they could get online as long as they're not in certain countries and talk their shit in their little fucking subreddits and internet forums and shit. But they can't go out into the real world and find other pampered idiots to fucking agree with. I mean, because all this basically comes down, like reading this anti-work subreddit, which I'm not even going to pull it up. You want to look at it, that's on you. It's real easy to find. Google's your friend. But like most of the stories are just shit like, oh, you had a shit boss.
Yeah.
You had an asshole. You had this. Oh, I get it. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like stories where I'm like, that happens to us all. You're not special. This isn't like this isn't some Marxian awakening on your part. You had a shit boss. It happens.
And we need mom and pop. Okay, I've worked for 2 restaurant corporations that were both started by people who started a business, people who opened a restaurant. All right, they weren't like 2 fucking capital I forget the term for them. Capital investment companies that decided they were going to get into the restaurant business. No. One was a guy and his wife who borrowed $10,000 from their, in-laws, and another was like 2 brothers who opened a chicken restaurant in Boston like 30 years ago. Like a lot of these things. Walmart, believe it or not, Walmart was a dude named Sam Walton who opened a store in Tennessee. All right, even Amazon was Bezos selling books out of his fucking den. It was a mail order company. As much as you hate them now, they at one time were small. They were mom and pops.
Well, most of the hatred that I see directed at people like Bezos and Musk and shit like that is how they got rich.
I tell you,
I watched.
Be mad at the tax code. That's
No. You're missing my point. I'm not talking about taxes at all. They weren't worried about taxes at this point because they weren't big enough to be like tax them out of existence yet. I'm talking about how they got to that point. Elon Musk got, and this is a totally self-labeled authoritarian communists on YouTube put up a video why I hate Elon Musk, right? And he goes down the list. And it's basically Musk and some friends started a startup business. They hit the goal of every 90 startup tech company, sold it to a bigger tech company. He took his fucking cut of the 400 million, invested in another company, built that company up, put himself as like, gave himself some title over the company, sold that company, went and bought Tesla. And he's like, he didn't even found Tesla. He didn't do anything for Tesla. Tesla was already there. And it's like, but would Tesla be where it's at if he hadn't stepped in and bought it? Anybody with a few bucks and a knack for paperwork can start an LLC and technically start a company. Can you make the company thrive? Can you make the company a worldwide brand, right? That's where the sleight of hand comes in. And it's like, you hate him because he was good at selling companies at their highest profitability. And he was good at reinvesting his money in companies. Oh, and by the way, this guy admitted in his video that he's skipping over dozens of failed projects that Musk had tried to do this with companies, that it just didn't work out. And I'm like, yes, because you're skipping over all the failures because, like we said, for you to get good at anything, you got to fail a whole lot at it.
Failing teaches you things.
Lot. Yes.
I mean, come on.
He didn't just wake up one day and he was Elon Musk, the billionaire, fucking Amber Heard. It didn't work that way.
How many failures did Apple have before they finally caught with the once the iPod caught on, it was it, dude. That's when the whole world went crazy for Apple. But if you remember when we were in school together and they were like, yeah, they had the Mac lab, we all laughed at it. Like, who wants to use that shit? It was like it was the computer lab that was always free. Like, no one wants to use that crap. Be over here on the real computers, on the PCs.
Absolutely. And you want to know why? Because PCs weren't smart enough to basically, Microsoft was like, we'll run all your games on our operating system, Windows. And Apple, being Apple, was with that egomaniac Jobs. Nope. I want to have, I don't want anybody just to be able to fucking write a software for a computer game for our fucking operating system. And you basically made yourself a niche fucking market. The only people I knew in the early 2000s and late 90s who were buying Apples and swore by them were people who were recording music, video editing, shit like that. No gamers, which is where most of your computer hardware is sold, and who they're sold to, and what it's sold for, were all Apples. I don't know, and I know some hardcore fucking gamers from way back. Like, you go over to their house now, and their rigs are liquid cooled and shit. Like, it's ridiculous. They got server rooms in their basement. I'm not exaggerating one bit. So, I mean, like, and these people are like, fuck Apple. Like, to this day, they're like, fuck Apple. They get an Apple product, they put Linux on it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn.
So, like, the hatred for, like, success factors in. And once again, you're being looked. We're back to the media standing in front of a burning building. You're seeing people in the background in a live stand-up shot throwing Molotov cocktails, starting fires, running out of buildings, armloads of shit, and they're going, it's a mostly peaceful protest.
Police squad, right? Everything's fine. The building's blowing up behind them. Nothing to see here.
Yes. There's no anger at these people being successful. There's no jealousy about them being successful. No one begrudges them their success. Really? Have you been on the internet lately?
Yeah.
Okay, and I've been on the internet long enough to know the difference between trolls and people who really mean their shit. And these are people that really mean their shit. They are pissed off. And the amazing thing is, when you start doing some digging, and I'm starting to see why people do this shit. Like, they get a celebrity they don't like and they start digging through their fucking social history or social media history, because it is kind of enlightening to see the shit that people fucking say. But most of these people claiming, that they want to live under, a Marxist, Leninist, communist utopia where the government takes care of everything, and magically only the right people end up in government. None of the wrong people ever end up in government. magically, because that's the only way that's going to happen. It's just through magic. That's it. But they're all, Mom and Dad, they didn't, I asked for a car for my 16th birthday, and they bought me a 3-year-old used car. Had 22,000 miles on it. What are you bitching about? You are 16 years old.
Yeah.
Driving around in a 3-year-old vehicle. Do you understand I was in my 40s before I owned a car that new? Do you understand that? And I come from dirt fucking poverty, poor people. The fact that I'm on the internet, the fact that I have a fucking computer is amazing to me. You people were just born into this shit. You think it's your birthright. It's not. You're not owed any of this shit. Your parents don't owe you a comfortable childhood. Comfortable as far as material things, at least. Roof over your head, not beat you, not turn out a fucking serial killer. Yes.
Food.
Yes. Food, all that shit. But you know what? They owe more than you that. They owe the society at large that. Yeah. But instead, we're turning out little rotten fuckers into society. And now we're reaping the rewards of this. These are the seeds you planted, folks. So, not even anti-work in a satire thing, where that they're like, look, we don't mind working, but come the fuck on, man. Like, this is a little ridiculous. Like, look at the difference in the rises of the wages of CEOs versus the average worker. Let's start there and get it somewhat proportional, first of all, and then we can go from there. Like, it's not even that. It's work is evil. Oh, I'm just supposed to go to school, go to your churches, graduate, go to college, get a job, get married, have a kid, and die.
You don't have to do most of that, but yeah, you got to do a good majority of that.
Yeah, do you want to have kids? No. Okay, well then take that out. Do you want to get married? No. Then take that out. Do you want to go to church? No. Then take that out. Do you want to not live in a tent?
Yeah. Do you like having the idea of your car always starting?
Do you want to live indoors? You want to have indoor plumbing?
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to get a job. Go to work.
Do you like the shit being carted out of your house when you take it? That's a big luxury we take for granted.
I mean, I said last week, and I meant what I said, and I stand by what I said. Right? This is not a one-size-all fucking... Humanity is not a one-size-fits-all situation, right? Some people, mostly in my experience, creative types, which are they're flaky. So maybe this is why this works for them. A true creative type, if you just give the ability to cover their nut and let them alone, more often than not, what they create you may think is garbage, but they're going to be creative. It's the non-creative types sitting around at home that I worry about. Because those people get up to fuck. Those are the people who become miserable little fucking cocksuckers, and they want to make everyone else as miserable as they are. And there's no, you pay them to sit at home, what are they going to do? They're going to hop online and just stir the shit pot and try to make everybody else lick the spoon for them. That's basically about it. I mean, that's the difference. You take Paul McCartney and you put him in a room with musical instruments and roof over his head, place to sleep, running water, food. He'll probably start writing songs. You take Joe Blow, who was born with a cell phone in one hand and an overinflated sense of entitlement and delusions of grandeur in the other hand, and you put him in a room with every possible fucking thing they could ever ask for, and they'll still be bored. It's just different humans. So I'm not with this, this is what we need to do with every situation. But I understand this. Having said all that, I understand this. The carrot on the stick is what motivates most people to go out and keep the world moving. We're not going to have breakthroughs at the rates we've been having them, with people sitting on their fucking ass bitching about their pronouns online all day. It doesn't solve anything. It creates problems that don't exist out of thin air. That's all that shit does. So I mean, you don't believe me? Go read the shit you hear. People being pissed off that they have to go to work, and not I hate my job, my boss sucks. How dare you make me give up any fucking time of my day for my own survival? Someone else should fucking provide that for me.
How dare you?
Yes.
I don't know. I just look at it like maybe I'm weird, but I just look at it as call back to way earlier in the show. Like, we're dudes, right? We're going to do stuff to fill our time. It's innate. It's in us, right? I look at it as, I'm going to fill a big chunk of my day with doing something. Why not get fucking compensated for it?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, and here's the thing. If all this art and all this culture that these people who, for the most part, who want to fucking, bang on about, we shouldn't have to work for a living and everything should just be handed to us and we should be taken care of and be allowed to be creative.
Okay, fucking hippie. That's really how I think.
Well, I mean, dude, here's my question. What do you create? And first of all, do you create anything? Second of all, what do you create? What is the quality of what you create? And art's subjective. So there's that. I'll give you that. But what happens far more times is that boredom sets in and they start looking for things to destroy. They don't look for things to build. They don't create things. They look at things and go, it's easier for me to get mad and tear this down in 2 seconds than spend 10 years perfecting my fucking craft and creating something. You're proving that you're lazy, not just through your words and wanting to be taken care of cradle to grave. You're proving that you're lazy, that you won't even get up off your dead ass and fucking put a goddamn headset on and record a podcast, okay? Like, no offense to anybody on the show, including, I am one of them. Like, the bare minimum, guys. Like, I have friends who are just revolutionaries. They're willing to die for the cause. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. I'll have you on. I don't give a fuck if the rest of the guys say no. You know what I'll do? I'll tell them to go fuck themselves. I'll record me and you, and I'll release it my fucking self. You'll have an open forum. Just understand, you come with the bullshit, I'm going to challenge you on. So, come heavy or don't come at all, motherfucker. Don't walk in here with your ass open because I'm going to send you home with it looking like a jar of fucking Jiffy peanut butter. And you know what? They can't fucking do it. They won't do it. They'd rather sit at home and do that all day. And I'm just like...
It's easier.
It's easy. Exactly. And you can gussy up all your insecurities and all your bullshit that you've never dealt with and put it and hide it behind, well, the world isn't ready for what I got to say. And this and that. And we all know that in the vast majority of these cases, you're just afraid of being told you're stupid. And guess what? You can sit in your house. You can never leave your house. I'm a big fan of that. You know why? Because the world's full of stupid people. And I've been one more than a few fucking times. All right? That's just all there is to it. No matter what you do, someone's going to think you're stupid. Someone's not going to like you. You're not going to be universally loved. It's not going to happen. People are not going to universally agree with you. Look what happens when we connect the entire world together via the internet. People find their echo chambers and they flock to them. And they will fight tooth and nail, almost as hard to keep themselves in those echo chambers as a person 100, 200 years ago would have fought for a scrap of food who was starved. They do get your fucking reality away from you. And this is what I really see this shit as. You can't have communism, Marxism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, until you have a society who's successful enough to bleed off the people at the top, to prop up the people at the bottom. There's no poor fucking villages where motherfuckers are eating, rotten fucking flesh, hoping not to die, drinking fucking the same water that they piss and shit in. They're talking about social inequality, talking about we need to fucking spread the wealth. What wealth is there to spread?
They're trying to get through the next 24.
Exactly. It's when we become fucking fat and kept. Well, we are fucking we're like cattle, man. We got it easy.
What this turns into like, you got something, well, I want something too. Give me yours. That's what it kind of turned into.
It's constantly that. And here's the difference. Someone who goes out, raises an animal, slaughters the animal, preps the animal, cooks the animal, and then sits down to eat the animal they put all that work into, I don't go over and fucking go, you owe me half of that steak. No, they earned that fucking steak. I watched them do it. That's fine. You put the work in, you reap the rewards. That is how shit is supposed to be in nature. That's just how it is in nature.
The world's turning into Debo. Give me your sandwich.
Yes, the problem is when motherfuckers come over and are taken off of everybody else's plate, and it's like, what? Why is your plate empty in the first place? Well, I didn't want to put in any work. So now you think I'm supposed to feed you? Like you're entitled to this? Just take my food? The fuck out of here. But that's what we deal with. That's what these attitudes are. And I'm just like, it doesn't work that way. And you know what? Maybe this is, I hear about the great recession of the late 2000s, right? And that's proper noun status in millennials and younger's minds now. So that's how it's going to go down in history. Might as well just accept it. But, I hear this and I'm like, okay, obviously it wasn't great enough. I guess we really need to be out here fucking like looking at the family dog going, ain't had meat in a long time.
Like, yeah, do we really got to go back to bread lines? Come on, man. I don't want to do that. That shit just looked uncomfortable. I know it was old cameras and shitty film, but still, it did not look like a good time. Hanging out, waiting to get a loaf of bread.
Well, dude, we both know the end game is if you make it to where, well, it's just one follows the other. It's like the old quote from JFK. Well, it's been attributed to JFK. I don't even know if he said it anymore. Who the fuck knows? Because the internet argues about anything. But
well, he's alive, and he'll be back soon. So,
yeah, exactly. As soon as they find that children's sex torture dungeon in the basement of a pizzeria that doesn't.
Well, that's where he's at. He's hanging out there waiting for people to come find him.
Oh, it's like that Scrubs episode where they walled over the door.
Yeah.
To the room, and so it's like it's just really well hidden.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like some Edgar Allan Poe shit.
JFK's in like, once they find me, I'll let them know. He's in there. He's like 90 at this point.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar. I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
Beat the stress with the Planet Fitness Black Card for $22.99 a month and feel great with all the perks, like access to over 2,000 locations. Bring a guest anytime and relax and unwind with massage chairs and more. Your fitness is essential. Join Planet Fitness today and enjoy all the perks of the PF Black Card for zero enrollment and $22.99 a month. Hurry, deal ends November 16th.
Join Planet Fitness today for no enrollment. Hurry offer ends Tuesday, November 16th.
Commitment may apply. See club for details.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar. I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
Beat the stress with the Planet Fitness Black Card for $22.99 a month and feel great with all the perks, like access to over 2,000 locations. Bring a guest anytime and relax and unwind with massage chairs and more. Your fitness is essential. Join Planet Fitness today and enjoy all the perks of the PF Black Card for zero enrollment and $22.99 a month. Hurry, deal ends November 16th.
Join Planet Fitness today for no enrollment. Hurry offer ends Tuesday, November 16th.
Commitment may apply. See club for details.
Introducing Peacock, the new free streaming service from NBC Universal. It's hit movies, current shows, live sports, trending bits, and timeless hits. And that's why you can't not watch. Peacock. Watch for free. Upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com. Law & Order SVU streaming now.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Yeah, JFK, whoever said it, doesn't matter. Those who make conversation impossible and debate impossible guarantee violence. Well, those who make it impossible for people to make money to get taxed in this country will make those people leave this fucking country eventually. Whether you like it or not, it's not just tax breaks that keep these people here. All right? There's other things. But eventually, if they're taxed to the point where it's like, what's the point of even going out and going to work? I might as well just live off of the money I fucking have. I can just borrow against it every fucking year and live off my stocks. What do you think they're going to do? If that's how, if we punish people who are successful to that level, they're just going to pack up and go when they get a better deal. And you don't think other countries will welcome Ford, General Motors, Microsoft, SpaceX?
God, that millionaire tax, that billionaire tax didn't go through on that with that infrastructure. Like, because they were literally they were talking about taxing money that didn't even exist yet. Like, you have to pay us for money that you're theoretically going to make. Well, it's like, well, what if they have a bad year and they don't theoretically make that money? You just took 15%. You actually created a deficit. Like, you going to give it back? No, because you're the government. You don't do that.
Of course, absolutely.
But I mean, but my whole concern with that is, like, we talked about it, right? The slippery slope is real. Yeah, you start it there, right? But how soon till it gets down to, like, people like me, who's like just the middle class guy who's funding his own 401k, right? And then every April 15th, you now start taking extra money out of my pocket because I'm going to theoretically make, like, that's what. It's a thing you've talked about, right? Once the government, starts, they don't stop. They just keep going and going and going and see how far they can go.
Well, yeah, and this is part of what has been the umbrella term, the Great Reset. This is part of it. This is getting people getting people to go, oh, I don't own anything. I don't own physical copies of my movies or my video games. I stream them or I download. Okay. Well, then you don't own this. And well, you have an electric car. And that's good because it's good for the environment. And we don't need fossil fuel anymore. But your electric car, it's got kind of a limited range. Doesn't it? So you can't really like have the freedom to, like, right now, if I had the cash, which freedom and cash are very much a correlation between the two. You think you believe in freedom, be free and be broke. You better have nothing to lose. That's the only type of freedom broke people have. But if I had the cash to hop in my car, I could still drive from the northernmost tip of Maine to the southernmost tip of Texas or fucking California and do it. And no one will be any of the fucking wiser unless I hit a toll road. They won't know. No one will know where the fuck I'm at. But you get an electric car, you got 150, 200 mile fucking range before you got to plug it in for the fucking night, whatever the fuck. Get used to people not moving around the fucking country. I mean, this is shit that people are like, oh, conspiracy theory shit. Okay, well, the World Economic Forum's talking about it out in the open. Nothing of what I said is being hidden. I am not reading one line and reading between lines and filling in blanks. They filled in the blanks. They're playing Mad Libs, and they're the only ones playing. So in other words, you're reading what they're fucking writing. It's not a game here. This ain't a theory. This is what the fuck, dude. Bill Gates and Microsoft are now the largest farmland owners in the world. It all happened during the pandemic. Why? Why? And why was that allowed to happen?
Server farms?
No one's asking these fucking questions. No one, the mainstream media, left, right, Fox, MSNBC, doesn't matter, doesn't ask these questions. If you don't go to quote unquote alternative media sources, which, by the way, the mainstream media has its own budget and department to constantly fucking try to discredit those sources. And it's been this way forever. This is nothing new. If you're from Detroit, you remember the old days when, like, Real Detroit or Orbit or Metro Times, at the end of every year, the end of their year issue, they had top 10 news stories ignored by the mainstream media. And more often than not, I would go through and read that, and within 5 to 10 years, boom, all of a sudden it would now be a big story, but it's too late. You're trying to lock the barn door after the horses are gone. And these were stories that Metro Times had investigative reporters covering. So you're telling me that NBC, ABC, Fox, CBS couldn't afford to send an investigative reporter or two? No, it's willful fucking ignorance of the situation. That's not willful ignorance. That's just, we're not going to cover that. And for so many fucking years, where do people go for their news? I mean, that's what I'm saying. The internet has made it to where you can go find this shit. You just got to look for it. But what do? We go back to grade school shit. Oh, what are you going to go look up that conspiracy theory shit? What are you, one of them weirdos? We start using shaming tactics, like peer pressure. Come on, everyone's doing it. Can't get pregnant the first time. What are you gonna do? Look at alternate news sites? I got MSNBC. I got Fox. I have all the news that I need. Really? Okay. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. You're sitting here. I just read this article. MSNBC. Why the inflation we're seeing now is a good thing. That's the tweet that is attached to this article. 12/18. November 8th, 2001 is when they post, okay? Dude, 6 months ago, and there's no inflation. It's not happening. A year ago, it's not going to happen. You need to stop worrying about that. Now it's here. No, now it's a good thing. Seriously? How many fucking subjects have they done this in the last decade?
That's why I've never been a fan of the left. The left will lie to you. All right? The right will at least tell you. People hate, you know why people hate the right? Because they'll be honest sometimes. Sometimes it'll just be, you're going to get fucked and here's why. Of course it's going to happen. There's all this new money out in the economy. It's going to happen.
Well, I mean, there is a way to stop it, but it's never going to happen because it flies in the face of, every business model that I've ever fucking seen. Because here's the other thing. For all of the fucking brain power behind all these think tanks of we're not communists, we're socialists. No, we're truly communists. And all this, okay. So put all your big brains together and let's act like you're all on the same page. What's your alternative business model? We don't have one. Then why are you talking? We all know the problems. We all know these problems. We know the shit ain't fair. We know that life ain't fair. I'm sorry that you're fucking 40 and you're just learning this. Go kick your parents' ass if they're still alive. They're the ones who did this to you. Go find some teachers who fucking taught you and beat the shit out of them. They're the ones that did this to you. Stop trying to fuck us up our ass because you're the last one to sit down at the party. I'm over it. There's no reason we should be holding the hands of 40 fucking year old people and older about the realities of the fucking world. I don't care how much privilege you grew up with. At a certain point, you realize good people die. Horrible, horrible, painful deaths. Innocent children die every day. Hard work is not its own reward. You can do everything right and still fail. It's called life, man. It's just what it's called. You cannot game that system. There's no way to beat it. You can't outthink it. It's like the wall. Everybody hits the wall as far as their looks go. You can be Jennifer Aniston, Charlize Theron. You can hit the genetic lottery. Be Brad Pitt. Be Ryan Reynolds. Eventually, all those Mona Lisas will start to fall apart.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way of the world, folks.
Time is undefeated.
I mean, don't get caught up in the, as the kids say, the doomer black pill end of this type shit, which is, well, if that's the case, then there's no point in anything. No, the point is live the life that you can live a life you can be proud of. And I mean, do you really think you're going to be proud of bullshit you've pulled when you're lying on your deathbed? You're going to be talking about the time that you fucking threw a brick through, Starbucks window and fought the man? Really? Is that what's going to fucking be your last coherent thought that goes through your last firing neuron in your brain before it goes dark forever? Because if it is, man, fuck it. Maybe I need to take a black pill and just say fuck this world. Because I don't know. None of this shit is hidden. None of this. Everything's out in the open now. That's what's amazing to me. And people have been convinced that stick your head in this shackle, you'll be fine. And the only conclusion I can come to is, as someone who truly believes in true freedom to live and die on my terms. But you have to understand the consequences that come with living that life. If you're going to pull righteous to that fucking lifestyle, then you have to be here when it bites you in the ass. No crying about it. And it's bit me in the ass plenty of times, and I've deserved every chomp it's taken out of my ample ass. All there is to it.
You also have to live it. That's the other thing. There's a lot of people who, talk the talk, they don't walk the walk. All these people, every time cancel culture shows up and gangs up on somebody, I always wonder the same thing. Like, if we put every one of you motherfuckers under a microscope, what are we going to find?
Oh, well, dude, I mean, they're coming after Chris Pratt, and, it's funny because if you watch the mainstream news, the mainstream news is literally Shaggy, that shitty Wasn't Me song. They're just like, Deny till you die, bro. Deny till you die. They just sit there like they got a rock hard dick with cum dripping from their tip, and there's a $2 hooker on her knees in front of their fucking cock, and her face is fucking coated in their semen, and they're going, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't nut on her. I didn't fuck her. And just like the dumbest of the dumb cunts in the world, they're like, okay, that's just us. That's you. That's you taking that load on the face. You know what? It's worse than that. You don't even get the joy of fucking your boyfriend. You go over and lick it off the fucking bitch's face. That's you. You're getting secondhand nut. You're not even getting it fresh from the tap. So go ahead. Convince yourself about that bullet. Oh, yeah. This is just great. That's the news. No, this ain't happening. This ain't happening. But then you go on fucking line and you see the motherfuckers, and this is the people run the gamut of it's happening, and I'm okay with it because I don't like Chris Pratt's politics or religion.
What's he getting blasted for? What'd he do?
Oh, he married a Schwarzenegger, so he's already a Nazi. Huh. He left he posted a picture of her and his wife, and it was real Chris Prattish, like that kind of like Chris Pratt, like Ryan Reynolds, likable asshole type shtick. He was doing like, see the way she's looking at me? I'm so lucky to have a beautiful wife that looks at me this way. And apparently he's like, just because he's been outed by Hollywood as a Christian, he's just like, well, then fuck it. If you're going to just sit here and run me down for being a Christian, then I'm going to start being a Christian in public. So he was like, I've been blessed by God, and, I'm so lucky to have a beautiful wife and a young, beautiful, healthy daughter. And then immediately people lost their minds because his daughter or his kid with Anna Faris, his son with Anna Faris, has like heart issues and something to do with his vision. And they're like, oh, he's shaming Anna Faris for not giving him a healthy child.
Are you shitting me?
No, absolutely not, dude. I'm absolutely here. I'll dig up in my history. I'll send you the fucking video.
I understand it's going on, but it's like, really? Like, no, people get divorced. Yeah. Like,
well, dude, what's the first fucking thing most people say about a child, their child? Man, I just want all fingers, all toes, be healthy. So to say a healthy, a beautiful, healthy baby, like they act like he went out of his way to basically say the defective child that Anna Faris cunt gave me. That's not what he said. And I highly doubt that's how he feels about his other child. But that's what people that's what I fucking feel he meant to say.
Like, I don't want to ask these people, do you think a man of Chris Pratt's means never sees his other kid? Are you shitting me? Like, he doesn't have to do weekend warrior dad type shit. He probably sees his other kid at his own will.
Well, I mean, dude, 30-minute video. I'm sitting here, I'm watching this guy, and he's just every fucking throwing everything he can against the window. And he's like, I want to cancel fucking. Here's what's funny. In one breath, he goes, I want to cancel Chris Pratt. I want him to be deplatformed. I want him not to be able to make a living. And then in the next breath goes, there's no such thing as cancel culture.
Yeah, that's this new, because Aaron used to do it on Unregimented too. Like, no, it's a thing. Like, it's the purveyors of it want to say it's not a thing because they don't want to be, labeled as part of the problem. Well, no, it's a thing. All right? It is in the zeitgeist. It exists. You saying it doesn't exist doesn't mean it goes away. All right? We now have many, 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 many examples that it exists.
Well, I also thought it was funny that, like, we all agreed when we started on Regiment. Well, when you guys started and I came in, we all pretty much agreed the first few episodes we were, like, figuring out where all our ethical piss puddles overlapped. And we were like, look, censorship for the sake of censorship, just because I'm offended, I don't like what you said, that's not a valid reason to shut somebody up via force. And that force could be law, peer pressure, societal pressure, the fucking the Twitter lynch mob. We all pretty much agreed upon that. But I found out real quick that certain people on the podcast agreed with that because it had always came from the right in their mind. And the right practices talk to a fucking lefty, not a liberal, not a Democrat, and not a true progressive, a lefty, like one of these fucking just as ignorant as the right people on the right going, keep your government hands off my Medicaid. These people hate the government, hate corporations, but yet want to basically set the table for a world where corporations run the fucking entire world via bought and sold and paid for politicians.
But damn the man.
But yeah, because it was coming from religious shit or something. Oh, that was cancel culture. What about over on this side? No, that's not that. No, that's nothing to worry about. Don't worry about that. That little guy, I wouldn't worry about that little guy. Like, are you serious? And this is what the fuck they do. And I'm over it. I'm over this shit. If you were honest, then at least I know. But here's the thing. They demand everybody fight. You know what it is? It's like Vietnam. Okay, we Americans and their allies have to fight. Or fuck it, here. That's going back too far. It's hurting millennial brains and Zoomer brains that are listening. We'll go recent. That's Afghanistan and Iraq. Iraq Part 2. Electric Boogaloo, by the way. We can't commit war crimes. We got the Geneva Convention. We got this. We got that. Meanwhile, they'll take a little kid's body, hollow it out, pack it with explosives, put it on the side of the road. When GIs stop to help the kid, blow him up and kill him. Completely violating how many fucking laws, international laws, and committing how many war crimes. And that's fine. That's how these people are. They're like, you have to fight using honor and follow the rules. We can fight any way we want. And their main way of fucking with you is going, no, you didn't see what you just saw. Chris, I'm going to walk over to your house. I'm going to walk in your fucking house. I'm going to walk in the basement. I'm going to sock you in your fucking face, and I'm going to grab your fucking vape pen and walk the fuck out. And then when you get pissed and try to follow me out, I'm going to turn around and go, how dare you fucking attack me? Dude, you just walked in my fucking house and hit me and took my shit. No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. No, I didn't.
I have a bruise on my face. No, you didn't.
That bruise is fascist adjacent right wing alt right conspiracy theories.
But that's my vape pen in your hand.
Okay, QAnon. No, it's not. Okay, QAnon. Okay. What are you scared? You're fragile fucking property ownership.
No, I'm just confused because you came in, you punched me in the face, you took my vape pen, and now you're saying it didn't happen.
I'm past confused. I'm pissed because I'm tired of getting fucking kicked in my balls and then told by the person who did it, I didn't do that. It never happened. Not that it didn't happen. Not that it's like they don't like I didn't do it and it didn't happen. Really? Because I'll flop my sack out. You can look at my bruised coin purse and it didn't happen that way from a vigorous jack off session. So fuck you. Like serious. But this is what we deal with this shit. This is what people are bombarded all day, every day with. I'm watching a clip. I don't know why. I'm watching a clip of MSNBC, and they're talking about how critical race theory doesn't exist. That it's a conspiracy theory of the alt-right, of the far right, of the white nationalists, of every fucking thing that they can fucking throw at the wall. And I'm just going, there are literal degrees in this shit. How many fucking academics have talked about it over the last 40 fucking years? You can go online and listen to them give speeches on the shit to college kids, to high school kids, to private fucking citizens who pay for the fucking privilege of hearing it. Yet it doesn't exist. How much more do you got to be lied to before you just go, I'm done. Fuck this. This is bullshit. I mean, Chris, I guess I give you some credit. I give you credit in a lot of ways, but in this way, I begrudgingly give you credit because I think ultimately it's a fool's errand. Like, you still truly believe that, like, you're going to somehow, like work will equal somewhat of a fair life. And I'm just like, yeah, in a way. I mean, it does. If you have the skill set, you know how to use the skill set, it can provide a comfortable life. But, I mean, my question is, it's not that I have a problem with the idea that our lives should be more than just go get an education so you can go to work for somebody else and you can procreate and die, because that sounds horrible, especially the procreate and marriage shit. Like, no, that's no. You know, but there's more to life than that, just like there's more to life than work. And believe me, I've had workaholics die in my family where I've been standing there. And it's like, you know, hours within their last breath. They weren't reminiscing about all the fucking overtime they worked.
Oh, for sure.
They were opining away about how they wish they had spent more time with people they actually loved, people they cared about, doing things they actually wanted to do. That's where, and here we go, folks. This is why I'm the dirty, filthy word. Even though I was never considered a centrist until 2015, when y'all dragged the fucking Overton window and as far to the left as you could fucking get it and made me a centrist. It's a balance, and you have to find that balance. And there's too many people who just want to party without responsibility all the time. And there's too many people who think that working until a early grave is somehow an honorable thing. It's not, because you know what you're missing out on? Life. Trust me, I've been to coworkers' funerals. Coworkers in our 20s and 30s, by the way. Not many other coworkers were there. The people that you were working so hard to impress don't give a fuck ultimately. And I'm not saying don't work, but just like I'm not saying, I'm not saying sit on your ass all fucking day, collect government fucking checks, and finger fucking Nintendo control. There's a balance. We all have to find it. Isn't that the balance between work and life? And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I quit my last job. I mean, and that's why I was unhappy at my job that I had for 15 years. On the surface, it's a great job to have, but I was miserable at it. It was, I knew it was time to go. And Rich, I could tell you it's gotten a lot easier because I fought it when I was younger, and I've just resigned to, there's a game and you got to play it. I fought it well into my 30s. Fuck this, man. I'm going to succeed despite playing the game. And it's no, you're not, idiot. Who are you? It had to be a tough look in the mirror. Really? Everyone thinks they're going to change shit. And you're just it kind of becomes like a philosophical existence thing, right? You are just a speck of dust on a fly's nutsack. Who the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And once I've kind of realized, it's just a game and you got to play it a little bit and manipulate it a little bit and you can make it work for you instead of against you, it's gotten a little easier.
I get that. And there's an optimism, no matter how deeply buried it might be, that is in that's running through that. And that's what I guess is I don't know, begrudging respect isn't the proper term, because begrudging makes it sound like I'm giving it to you and I don't want to. It's more of and being in awe of the fact that you still have that optimism isn't the right word or phrase either. I don't know. Dude, you know what I consider a successful life for me? I'm not buried in some fucking pine box in an unmarked grave in some fucking potter's field somewhere. That's it. Or I'm not, someone's there to collect my ashes, and I'm not just cremated by the state and thrown in some garbage can with 15 other fucking, useless people as far as society was concerned, ashes. That's it. And here's the deal. The older I get, the less I even care about that, dude, because I'll be dead.
Yeah. I really, what happens after I don't give a shit. I'll be dead. You can fire me out of a cannon for all I give a fuck.
I've watched enough episodes of It's Always Sunny to where I can quote Frank on this one. I don't know how many more years I got left on this planet, so I'm about to get weird with it. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Dude, I've given up. All I'm doing is pumping the brakes on the way to a red light. That's all we're all doing. Most of us just we race to that red light. I'm just trying to slow the fucking process down. Maybe get 50 years out of this fucking mortal coil. And then I can fucking move on to whatever the fuck else awaits everybody at the end of this fucking life.
Nothing?
And that's it. I guess. I don't know. I mean, once again, how many times have I said this on the show? I'm an agnostic, but I'm a hopeful agnostic. But if you ask me, well, how much hope do you have? Hope in one hand, shit in the other. See which one fills up first.
Part of me wonders if I'm a bad person, because one of the first thoughts I had racing through my head as my dad's corpse was laying there, is man, I hope that religion thing was worth it, because you were really into it. I hope that worked out for you. But everybody, the only people who know are dead. So, yeah, but I just think it just comes to a stop. It's it, done. We're just carbon-based organisms on a rock where all the conditions were right for life to form. That's my analytical brain getting into it.
No, I got you. And it's, the same thing with when Aaron and I would every once in a while get off on a tangent, podcasting for just us two, basically, on Unregimented. One of the things we'd always come back to is basically neither of us could define consciousness in a satisfactory way for us to be able to, like, that's where the conversation eventually ended. Like, can we even define consciousness? Is consciousness being alive? Is consciousness being aware of your surroundings? Because if consciousness is being aware of your surroundings, then death is the cousin to sleep. That's probably, without dreaming, that's probably what death is really like, right? And he's like, I don't know. Are you conscious when you dream, blah, 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 blah. And, and we get lost down that rabbit hole, which I'm not trying to get lost down that rabbit hole. I'm just pointing out that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a million different ways to look at it. And here's the thing. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. I'll listen to anybody's theory. But if you're going to try to fucking claim that your theory is factual, you better back that shit up. And I'm sorry, but I have faith in this, ain't backing it up. Faith means you believe in something that's impossible to happen. That's it. Right? It's impossible to happen. That's it. I mean, you can gussy it up and pretty it up and, well, you're being reductionist. Okay, well, yeah. Well, sometimes you don't need to deconstruct everything. All right. And by the way, when you deconstruct everything, you're reducing it anyways. But you liberals never really had a good fucking grasp on language. That's why not liberals, progressives have never had a very good grasp on language. That's why they love to redefine words on the fly. I mean, do we even need to give examples? How many terms have been redefined? Like, and you go, when did this happen? Someone said it on Twitter.
What's the latest one? Birthing parent. There's no more mother and father. There's the parent and the birthing parent.
This is what I can't get across to my friends who are like, just like, this is horse shit. This is all trendy shit. You're telling me that like 30-40% of teenagers are trans now? I don't buy it. I'm like, I'm with you. I get it. Okay. Here's the deal. I'd rather them do this goofy ass shit now than when they're fucking 40. There ain't nothing more heartbreaking to watch than someone who's absolutely lived a bullshit lie, who's never ever dared step out of their little comfortable box and see the world around them. And then they do it and they destroy a family, they destroy a marriage, they fuck their kids up, they fuck people's finances up for fucking a decade or more. And it's why? Because someone either forced you to live a lie or you were too scared to step out of your own comfort zone. So in a way, I'm like, fuck it. Figure out what the fuck you are. When you're young is when you're supposed to experiment. I mean, I don't believe in God in the sense, I don't believe in any God, really, deity or anything like that. But, I mean, my grandmother used to say, you know why they make children low to the ground? Or God made children low to the ground? So they get up quicker when they fall down. And they're going to fall down a lot. Well, you're young. That's when you're supposed to fuck up. That's when you're supposed to figure shit out. You think you're gay? Okay, suck a dick. Did you enjoy it? No, it's pretty gross. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you ain't gay.
Would you say that?
But you have had dick in your mouth. Just remember that. That will be ball-busting material for later in life.
You said, what was it, 30 to 40% are trans, allegedly? I would say 20 to 30% are still figuring it out.
Well, dude, I mean, okay. I have a group of friends who all their kids live and hang out, live around each other, hang out together, go to school together. And in the last 5 years, all except 2 of them have been trans. Yes, I'm saying that right. Been trans. Because most of them announced they were trans, never did anything besides maybe butch it up or femme it up a bit. And then like 6 months later, when I see them and I address them by their preferred pronoun or their new name, they're like back to their dead name and their birth pronouns, their government name, their slave pronouns, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, and I look at the parents and the parents just shake their head, just, oh, so fucking perceivably like, don't even bother, dude. Don't even. And I'm like, this isn't, do you kids understand that like you start injecting shit and cutting shit off, that's forever? Like, do you understand that? This isn't putting on a flannel and getting a piercing and going, it's not a phase, mom. All right. This is fucking, you're chopping off parts of your body. You're changing your body's chemistry through artificial means being introduced to your fucking system. Everything has side effects. Everything has unseen effects. Everything affects everyone different.
Some could call it playing God. You're fucking with the natural order of things.
That's why I can't even fucking sweat the shit anymore because, like I said, I'm not exaggerating. 150, 100 years, 200 years, they're going to look back at us like cavemen. Like we look back at them when they talk about like putting leeches on people to get rid of blood infections and shit. Like, what the fuck? That don't even make sense. Wait, you were depressed, so they drilled a hole in your head to let the demons out? What the fucking savages were they? They're going to be like, you mean people died because they were afraid of stem cell research? People died because they were afraid of CRISPR? They were afraid of researching, changing chromosomes? And people walked around with plastic stuck on their amputated limbs instead of a new fucking implant? What the fuck was wrong with those people? That's coming, folks. If we survive as a species that long, that's coming. That's just inevitable. That is the march of progress that is not going to stop for us until we stop breathing as a collective species. End of fucking story. There's always going to be, at least, no matter how small the group, there's always going to be eventually at least one person to rise up from the group, separate themselves from the group, and go, I want to push the boundaries of what I believe is capable. And those are people that introduce this shit. That's why when I tell, like Earl, I don't get this fucking trans thing. There's nothing, then just don't worry about it then. There's nothing for you to get, dude. If you can't understand, like, this is hate speech, supposedly, to people, but this is the reality of the situation. You have a condition. You look in the mirror and you see something that's not there. You feel something that isn't real. Okay? If it's about your weight, it's body dysphoria. But now that it's about something to do with gender and trans people, we can't say that. That's hate speech. Well, fuck that. I'm going to hate you in speech, apparently. I feel a hate crime coming on right now because I'm going to tell you fucking some facts. You have a disorder. If the best way to treat that disorder is for you to transition, more power to you. But we've skipped many steps between being diagnosed with that. That's the first step we skipped, right to I just want to dress up as the gender I'm not and call myself trans. That's not trans. That's cross-dressing. It's got its own little community. Go find it. But why? Because parents, I want to be my kid's friends. I want a better relationship with my parents than I had. Oh, God, Jesus. You know what? Then you know what you need to do? Stop trying to be your kid's friend. It's not your job to send out kids who have good relationships with their parents because their parents let them do whatever the fuck they want. It's to send out someone who can survive on their own in society. And what's scary is the amount of children are being pumped out that can't survive on their own in society. Don't know how.
It's not a lot of coping being taught.
No. And it's not a matter of they can't do it because they're incapable of. They've never been taught. They've never been told. And they've just been taught and told to expect to always be taken care of. Dude, you can see it. Go out in public, hang out where children and their parents gather. And if you're a guy, don't do this because you'll be labeled as a sex offender, chomo, short-eyed motherfucker, in the prison or on some list somewhere. But seriously, I'm all joking aside, just go and watch the bullshit, like bargaining. Please, little Johnny. Please, little Janie, come here. Blah, blah, blah. Who am I kidding? Please, Jackson. Jacksin. Come here. And all this bullshit. Come here, Khaleesi. And all this bullshit. And it's like, no. What the fuck are you doing? These are fucking 5-6-year-old children. Why are you letting them dictate the pace of play and the rules of the game?
You know why school works, and it's worked for a while? Kids crave structure, all right?
Dude, if everybody can do everything, then no accomplishment is special. Yet somehow we have two generations who think they're so special. For what? If every accomplishment is exactly equal in outcome, no matter how much hard work you put into it, no matter how much hard work you didn't put into it, and how much you dicked off, you're going to end up with the exact same result, the exact same ribbon. Then what makes you special? Go ahead. I'll wait.
If everyone is special, nobody's special.
I used to say to Chris, I don't know how your guy friends were, but there was like a 2-3 year period where most of my male friends were insufferable cocksuckers about the subject of getting into fights and if they've ever lost a fight. Because every single one of them claimed, I've never lost a fight. And I'm like, if no one's ever lost a fight, no one's ever won a fight.
I'd not hang out with those dudes.
Okay. That's how fucking annoying those people were.
I hung out with a group of people where the goal was for the police to not be involved because most of us were usually holding.
Well, I mean, there's that too, but we didn't call the police. Well, there was. Well, I take
No,
it back.
but
There was a handful. There was a handful of bitches that called the cops and then tried to act like they were still street. That was like, you're done, dude.
Well, my concern is other people calling the police. That's more where I was like.
No, I got you.
If we get into dumb shit and people around here start getting all butthurt, all of a sudden, hey, look, there's police. Shit.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know what? It's really amazing. Even the amount of friends I've had who've had run-ins with the police, how many of them didn't have run-ins with the police because they were smart enough not to do their dirt around strangers who could pick up a phone and dial 911.
Yeah. They
knew better. They can't, some of these people, I guarantee you to this day, can't sit down and fill out an envelope properly. But they could fucking commit felonies and get away with them that would get them fucking 150 years in prison if they ever got caught. And they can do it like they're changing a coffee filter. It's second nature to them.
And then there were the people that would like to start shit at other people's house. Like, we don't know anybody here. Like, this whole party could jump us, and yeah, cops could show up. Like, yeah, I did not roll with those. You know, we had a rule when we all lived together: no shady people at the house. You know, you had to be vetted by at least somebody who lived there.
Well, that's, you know, maybe some of the stories might see the light of day on this podcast when Earl gets back. But yeah, there's more than a few stories where motherfuckers showed up and thought they had carte blanche to do a lot more than they actually did. And they got shown the door. And like, we're talking 25 years later, people are still butthurt about it. So the petty runs high in my group of friends. certain segment of my group of friends, we'll put it that way. Like, it is bad. Cause I'm like, bro, like, what happened? Did you go to jail? Did you get fined? Did you get your ass beat over it? No, just broke up the party, man. Bro, you're still pissy about a party that the mood went down at for an hour from 25 years ago?
Dude, we were partying, you don't understand.
Like, that's a level of petty I aspire to. That is like next level petty. That's petty to the like ninth power or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just ridiculous. Like, wow, dude, that is holding on to some shit that nobody else is holding on to. Trust me on this one. Like, nobody's sitting around fucking pissed off about this but you. But it does happen.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar. I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
Beat the stress with the Planet Fitness Black Card for $22.99 a month and feel great with all the perks, like access to over 2,000 locations. Bring a guest anytime and relax and unwind with massage chairs and more. Your fitness is essential. Join Planet Fitness today and enjoy all the perks of the PF Black Card for zero enrollment and $22.99 a month. Hurry, deal ends November 16th.
Join Planet Fitness today for no enrollment. Hurry offer ends Tuesday, November 16th.
Commitment may apply. See club for details.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar. I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
Beat the stress with the Planet Fitness Black Card for $22.99 a month and feel great with all the perks, like access to over 2,000 locations. Bring a guest anytime and relax and unwind with massage chairs and more. Your fitness is essential. Join Planet Fitness today and enjoy all the perks of the PF Black Card for zero enrollment and $22.99 a month. Hurry, deal ends November 16th.
Join Planet Fitness today for no enrollment. Hurry offer ends Tuesday, November 16th.
Commitment may apply. See club for details.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Well, real quick, I mean, I don't know how quick we can be about this subject. I've been kind of watching the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. from what I'm gathering, I don't see how he's convicted on any murder charge.
Well, I mean, one of the people who he shot admitted that he had pointed the gun at him first. So, I mean...
Fuck admitted. They had photographic evidence of it.
Well, dude,
that's when he admitted the shit.
Well, I saw a still photo of what we've all heard of Kyle on the ground with this guy standing over him.
Yeah, and then there was the video that was taken by the police helicopter, whatever, in the sky, that showed him yelling at a crowd of people after trying to put out a dumpster fire. Friendly, friendly, friendly. I'm here to help. He had a fucking first aid kit slung over his fucking shoulder. That was never brought up until recently during the trial. And I'm just like, why are they? And then you just watch the video and you just see a group of fucking people. It looks like something out of like a zombie movie, just rushing.
Damn.
You know, there was a guy the guy who took a swing at him connected like on his shoulder or something, shoulder, upper, middle, back area with a skateboard, bro. You ever been hit with a skateboard? It'll knock you the fuck out and wake you the fuck up at the same time. Especially you get caught with the trucks.
Yeah.
All right. Especially you get caught with the trucks. That's good night you all, and maybe even a wired jaw for 6 weeks. I mean, dude, I have no sympathy for anybody that was down there looking to do fucking dumb shit because you got exactly what you were asking for. But to try to pin this on like he went there with the intent of I'm gonna kill me some people. First of all, has the justice system ever in this country been about we can read minds? Isn't it about what you can prove? Supposedly, but I mean, I guess that's the new thing. Like I feel that he meant to do it this way, so that's how I'm going to look at it. Well, there's all this proof to the contrary. I don't care about that. My feelings don't care about your facts, silly human. What's wrong with you? Oh, okay. But no, I just don't see how he gets convicted, and then it's going to be, it's going to be a bunch of bullshit. Because here's the deal: at this point, it's in the jury's hands, right? Like when it's turned over to them. Now that jury, we can sit here and bullshit ourselves and say that jury is going to go in that deliberation room, and they're only going to deal with the facts of the case. We all know that that's not a reality in the situation, especially those of us that were alive and remember the O.J. fucking Simpson verdict. They were prepared for fucking Los Angeles to burn again. Not even 5 years after they had burned the shit down in 92 over the fucking Rodney King verdict. They were waiting for that shit again. You don't think that jury was well aware of that? You don't think his jury is well aware of if they come back with a not guilty verdict that all hell will break loose? I mean, this is what I'm saying. Rightfully so. A lot of people get pissy because the justice system railroads people, especially if you don't have money, they overcharge. They make you plead down to shit that you never should have even been charged with to a lesser count of it. And then they house you at a profit. I mean, that's the prison industrial complex in this country. They don't even make any bones about it. That's just what we do. Fish gotta swim, folks. That's just how this shit works. But I mean, this is like some other shit. Now you're fucking gaming the system from the other side. Because if we don't get the verdict that we want, fuck the fucking facts, then we'll destroy your shit. Really? That's what we're going to rule by mob justice? Well, then fuck it. Let's go back to the fucking Wild West and get it over with.
I mean, that's when I say meet my friend, the National Guard. They have tanks. You don't.
Yeah, well,
that's why I don't hold public office.
Summer 2020, how often that happened?
That happened in a couple cities. The cities where the mayors had enough. But yeah, it didn't happen in the... It didn't happen in a lot of the bastions of blue, so to speak.
I mean, Portland, Oregon had 90 consecutive nights with riots. 3 solid months with riots. With buildings burning, people assaulted, property destroyed, however you want to fucking frame it. All of it had 3 months straight. Dude, how the fuck? You know why? Let them burn themselves out. They didn't show up at the governor or the mayor's fucking mansion doing that shit. They were doing that shit downtown. They don't give a fuck. We found out what happens when you take it to the doorstep of their workplace. Now all of a sudden you're an insurrectionist. Right. Now all of a sudden it's the most horrible thing ever. And I mean, I dare you to fuck the militarization of the Washington D.C. Capitol Police and the fucking posting of National Guard and Army fucking active duty Army soldiers in D.C. after January. I'm talking about the damage summer of 2020, mostly peaceful rioting caused, in people's lives destroyed, money, all that, people actually harmed and or killed versus January 6th. January 6th at best should be lumped in with the 2020, the summer of 2020. They should just be a footnote. That's it. They did less damage than CHOP did. And CHOP is held up as some sort of fucking, that's still held up as like some sort of socialist, everybody equal utopia. And I'm like, what? The shit that fell apart almost instantaneously, that could barely last 2 weeks, where a guy came in and basically said, I own 2 AK-47s. I'm your new leader. Really? Okay, cool. I mean, dude, they don't care. So I think what's going to happen is he's going to get convicted on some of the charges. I think it's going to go to the appeals process, and on the appeals process, it'll be overturned, and there'll be less excuse for the bullshit. There'll be people calling for bullshit to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think Wisconsin's a little more red statey than people want to think, and I think he gets off. I think there's been enough things to support self-defense.
Well, as far as I know, and the way it was explained to me by every video from every fucking all over the spectrum, as far as political leanings that I've watched of quote unquote news agencies, I'm like, the burden of proof of he went there with intent to kill these people specifically hasn't been proven.
Yeah, all of it's charged.
And
they're all first degree.
And the law in the state says if your life is threatened, you have a right to defend yourself, up to using lethal force if the threat is of equal force you're being threatened with. Someone swinging a fucking skateboard at my head and someone putting a gun in my face, I would be being on trial. Because if it's a choice between hoping that you don't try to kill me with those two things that could easily kill me, or me kill you, you're going to lose every time. That's just how that is. I'll take my chances in the courtroom. Fuck that, dude. No. Especially a crowd like that. Have you ever really seen what happens when those fucking violent crowds get hold of somebody that they've been trying to get hold of? Bro, it ain't pretty.
Yeah.
Literally, they rip people limb from limbs. They fucking sodomized Gaddafi. Not that I'm like boo-hooing that Gaddafi got sodomized. They sodomized him with a rifle barrel.
Oof.
While ripping him apart while he's still screaming alive. Videotaped it and proudly displayed that shit anywhere they could on the internet. We're not that far from that in this country when these mobs fucking start. And yeah, January 6th could have went that way too. But stop acting like it did go that way. It didn't. You can knock that shit right the fuck off. No one was pulling apart cops limb from limb on January 6th. You stop your bullshit. But I do agree that could pop off real quick. Doesn't take much. That's the danger of these shits. But once again, you saw it with your own eyes, folks. When they're rioting and burning down shit in the cities, they don't care. You show up at the politician's doorstep, you will be vilified and prosecuted to the fullest extent that they can fucking finagle the law to prosecute you. I mean, what is the old saying? To find out who's running the society you're living in, find out who you can't make fun of or who you can't challenge. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Boom.
I mean, what more needs to be said? I mean, and look, this kid is an asshole as far as I'm concerned. And on top of that, there's this I'm sure you've heard it. Narrative being pushed. He crossed state lines with a gun. Okay, well, first of all, that's not a crime. And the crime in Wisconsin of him owning the rifle he did or being in possession of the rifle he did is a misdemeanor. What are we talking about here? Why was that the thing that I heard first and foremost out of all the usual suspects' mouths? Okay. That's the least of the crimes that he's being charged with.
Well, for starters, because it includes a gun.
Okay, well, keep going. Because I'm dead serious. I want some answers. I want someone else's perspective on this.
I wish I could help.
Okay, well, I mean, because I'm just sitting here like, why is this being hammered? Okay, good. That's a misdemeanor. That's what? Less than a year in prison? That's not even prison. That's county jail. And then most likely 17 years old, no prior records, no prior convictions. That's probably probation. I mean, That's it, really. And you can't own a rifle or a handgun for X amount of time. Okay, well, as Chicago and every other gun-free zone has pointed out to us time after time after time again, if he's really a criminal and he really wants a firearm, he's going to own a firearm.
What? I thought every gun in the city of Detroit was a legally owned gun.
Yeah. No, it's just if you use your legally owned gun, they come after you like you used your gun in a crime. While the ones that have the serial numbers burned or filed off, hey, look, that just goes into the 75% of unsolved fucking violent felonies in the city of Detroit. Sorry about your luck. I mean, dude, you know what? That's another thing. Okay, all this heat and shit. I kind of feel like he's being trotted out as like, okay, if you're going to hate somebody and you want to be angry about how shit popped off all summer 2020, here's your kid. Be angry at him. He's the one. He's the one that did it. Like, just scapegoat. Like, it's all his fault. Because where's all the fucking police change that was supposedly going to happen?
Nowhere.
Where's that happen? Where's all the refunding and redistribution of funds in police departments? Detroit still got a 30% clearance rate on murders?
It sounded nice and pretty to get everybody elected in November last year, but now that they're in,
I mean, dude, we have a governor who got in on fix the damn roads. Just fix the damn roads. That was literally her campaign slogan. Just fix the damn roads. Got in. Now, her worshipers will tell you that, well, COVID happened. Okay, all right, fair enough. I get it. But our roads are still not even on the way, because we're building back better because we got Biden, right? We got that evil fucking Cheeto Jesus out of office. No more mean tweets to read. We should all be happy. We're building back better. We're not building shit back. We're not even fixing the fucking roads we have in Michigan. But you know what she was able to do? She got rid of a tax on tampons and sanitary napkins.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, cool. Thanks for helping out half the population.
On top of that, what's that going to save? At our sales tax in the state, 6 cents on the dollar. Tampons or pads are between $7 and $10. That's what I don't know. I'm not a menstruating male, so I don't use them. But according to a very liberal news source, boxes of tampons or pads are between $7 and $10. You need them for 1 week out the month. So 1 week out the month, you're saving. Hold on. I was just going to round it up to $10 even and just say it. You're saving 60 cents.
Thanks for saving us 42 to 60 cents.
And
thanks, lady.
It's unfair that women were taxed for this item that they need. Really? They need this item? Okay. Well, then, here's my question. Do we want to end unwanted pregnancies and abortion as a form of birth control and all this shit? Because all the liberals I know will say, if we didn't have these puritanical views, then we wouldn't need abortion. We could just hand out the birth control, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what next? Because I keep hearing next step they're going to fight for is free sanitary napkins and tampons, because you shouldn't have to pay for that in the first place. It's a necessity. My question is it really? Can you not reuse cloth as tampon pads? It's nasty as fuck, but so is using cloth diapers. But every hipster I know tried it, at least, just for bragging rights and internet clout. None of them stuck with it, but all of them tried it.
My parents use cloth diapers. They see them delivered.
But do you see where I'm going? So, I mean, okay, cool. So if you don't want unwanted pregnancies, and we've been giving, women reduced or free birth control for decades now. I know for a fact at least 2 decades, because my ex-wife before we got married, used to get her fucking birth control for the absolute price, or the price of absolutely free, from Planned Parenthood. What next? Are they going to start giving out condoms for men, giving out free vasectomies and free reversals if they want to have children later in life?
Damn right. My body, my choice.
You know that shit ain't going to happen. They won't even offer that shit. Like, it's the same. It's the same fucking narrative they try to say when it's like, oh, there's going to be a male birth control pill, but men won't take it. Are you fucking serious? I can nut up in anything I fucking want, like it's fucking 1800, and run off and never have to worry about getting a call.
Yeah. Sign
you
me
can
up.
inject that directly into the head of my dick and both my balls at the same time with a needle as thick as my fucking thumb.
Can I just sign up for a subscription on Amazon and just have it delivered once a month?
What guy do you know that's going to be like, no, fuck that? I mean, I'm sure there'll be, religious or I don't mess with my body chemistry. How many times have you dropped acid or taken ecstasy? Yeah, shut the fuck up. You're an idiot. But that's beside the point. Like, what dude who is level-headed ain't going to be like, I can just drop loads all over the place and not have to worry about child support? The fuck out of here.
Yeah. Sign me up today.
Seriously. Let me tell you something. If your old man is fucking you with a rubber and you've been together for more than, let's say 6 months, it's because he don't trust your ass. That's all there is to it. There's no reason for you to bag up after 6 months. None whatsoever.
6 months.
If you
6 weeks. If you made it official.
Bro, if I don't trust the pussy, why am I fucking the pussy? Yeah. Who am I trying to prove? What am I trying to prove and who am I trying to prove it to? My thing is just not AIDS. But even that, I'll probably, nowadays, I'll be dead before AIDS gets me. And it won't be AIDS related, so I'm not worried about that. Fucking bring it on, man. Give me syphilis. I don't give a shit. What do I care? At least I'll be getting some. But no, I mean, all bullshit aside, man. This was acted like this was some sort of great fucking victory. Like they just won the right to vote or something. And I'm just sitting here going, okay, cool, man, whatever, great. Because honestly, I don't care that you're saving 60 cents a fucking month. Good for you. More power to you, I guess. But I know the government well enough to know that they're going to take a collective hit and somebody else is paying. And it ain't going to be the women who benefited from that 60, that tax being dropped. We're all going to pay for that tax being dropped. It's going to be, and we're going to pay probably 2-3 times more than when they get done implementing their replacement taxation system than what they would have brought in with that tax if they'd have just left it there.
Yeah.
But then the usual suspects will be beating their tampons going, yeah, we won, though. We won. Women's rights.
If you're buying the high-end tampons and you're buying a new box every time you have your period, which I believe, if you're smart, you generally don't, you're saving a whopping $7.20 a year. Now, to you, that is no big deal, but when you add that up from all the tax revenue that half the population is now not contributing.
11 million cut in half.
Yeah.
And take away a third of it, let's say, women who don't menstruate anymore.
It's true. You old bitches.
So, and well, that's not that much. Really? Okay. But it was, but 6 cents on the dollar was too much for it to ask for you to pay. But it's not that much to the government.
Yeah, how come we can't say to you, well, that's not that much?
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, right? And here's the thing. I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care. I just care that it's going to be put on everybody else to make up the difference because
it's going to be thrown into gas or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Because the government's the mafia. Fuck you, pay me. They're going to get paid. They get their cut. That's just and I've yet to meet any person who knows anything that I trust or anything about economics that I trust that disagrees with that statement, regardless of their political affiliation. And I'm like, well, then, especially like the hardcore commies that feel that way. I'm like, then how the fuck can you support more government?
Right.
Well, we got to get the right people in there.
Okay.
Let me guess. Who are the right people? You? Well, yeah. Okay. All right, bro. I grew up with you. You ain't running for political office anytime soon. You couldn't even get on you couldn't be elected dog catcher in your neighborhood. Shut the fuck up. There's pictures. There's literally Polaroids of you fucking a 14-year-old when you're 17. You would be in prison if it wasn't for us fucking basically getting rid of them. Fuck you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a piece of shit and you'll never fucking make it in office.
Who takes Polaroids of themselves committing a felony?
Dumbasses. I never said these were fucking very intelligent people I hung around with growing up. In fact, my original crew, the non-Redford crew, most of them are dead or in prison.
I was going to say, all doctors and lawyers now. Oh.
No. Most of them are dead or in prison. No, and ironically, they grew up in Livonia and Farmington Hills. I'm like, y'all had it good compared to the Redford crew. What the fuck? So maybe there's something, there you go, kids. Or excuse me, here you go, parents. Make sure to raise your kids with, I'll just give them the best of everything and ask nothing from them ever. Because that works out so well, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of cautionary tales of kids who had all the chances in the world and fucking blew it in more ways than one.
Speaking of cautionary tales, I mean, just to put a cap on this and put a bow on this Kyle Rittenhouse thing, I don't care if he goes to prison or if he walks. I just care that there's not horse shit going on behind the scenes that influences the outcome. And if there's one thing I've learned is that there's always horse shit going on behind the scenes that influences the outcome. So already I'm at a disadvantage because I'm like, the whole fucking thing is rigged anyways. Like, I don't buy this bullshit. Dude, you read stories about, like, fuck read stories. You go online, look up videos of people threatening jurors, saying there's cameras in the courtroom. We know what all the 12 jurors plus the 6 alternates look like. You've already been doxxed. People are already outside your homes. Go ahead and vote not guilty. Find out what happens. And these are broadcasts on the internet. These are on YouTube. These are on TikTok. I'm not saying they stay up very long, but I've seen them. And I've seen a lot more than 1 or 2 of them. And I'm like, really? You're telling me that this shit don't affect people? And if that's happening on this level, these people are either A, stupid, because they're basically stating their intent to commit a felony and putting it online, or 2, they're acting with immunity. In other words, if you do something, then we'll arrest them. Really? Well, then what's the point of a restraining order? Then let's just admit the police have failed to protect and serve. You're just here to document and fucking arrest. That's it.
Kinda.
Well, I mean, but this goes back to the truth, dude. And as we talked about in the pre-show back and forth, people don't want the truth in the world. People say they want the truth, but when they get the truth shown to them, they get really upset.
The truth is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Truth is ugly. Truth hurts. Truth doesn't care about your feelings. Truth barrels through and does not give a single fuck about the wake of destruction it leaves in its path. The righteous and unrighteous alike will all be fucking struck low before the truth. There you go. Y'all Christians want to talk like it's fucking the King James Bible? Stop worshiping fucking imaginary gods in the sky and start worshiping the truth. You can still talk in your biblical fucking holier than thou ways about the shit. Because, I mean, that's just what it is. But people don't want that. You want to find out how quick someone wants the truth? Next time your boyfriend asks you or your husband asks you how his dick compares to other dicks you've had, tell him the truth. Next time your wife or girlfriend asks you, does she look fat? Tell her the truth. And come back and we'll talk about how much people want the truth. And yeah, they're hacky premises. And yeah, if we were in hack comedy court, I'd be guilty as fuck for bringing them up. But it's the easiest way to boil it down to the most basic ingredient even the most average fucking person in this world can understand. Try that. No, honey. No. Your penis, your 4.5-inch penis, no. It fits me like a glove. Those 7.5, 8-inch ones that are like 4 inches in girth, they're just, you stretch me out.
Maybe for some girls, but not for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You go ahead and tell your man that shit. Go ahead. And then you go ahead and tell your wife that she's actually, no, honey, it's not the dress that makes you look fat. It's your fat fucking ass that makes you look fat. And see what happens. Both y'all will be the victims of domestic violence very quickly. But I mean, seriously, if the law says he was within his rights to defend himself, what more is there to discuss?
I mean,
what more is there to do?
That's the country I'd like to live in, personally. If a mob is being descended on me and I do what I got to do to stay alive, I'd like to think that the legal system would favor me. And I don't think these people counted on all these drones being in the area having all this footage.
No. And the prosecutor, here's my problem. This prosecutor, I'm picking up major, I'm going to make a career off of this vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never a good thing for the truth. When anybody is doing their job righteously versus political power or agendas, righteousness is going to lose every fucking time. And twice on Sunday. That's just all there is to it. You can argue with me. You can give me the 1 in a billion examples that you can think of. That's cool. Okay. There's always exceptions to the rules. So I guess I shouldn't say every time. 99.9 to infinity% of the time. There you go. You feel better now? You feel strong? Good. Because, I mean, no, because that's how dumb people are. You have to explain shit to them like they're fucking functionally retarded because, well, they are. Like, what do you want? Do you want truth? Do you want that word that you get mad when you're called an SJW, but you still consider yourself a justice warrior? Do you truly want justice? Because true justice doesn't mean getting your way all the time. That's not how justice works. So what do we want? And I think we need a collective acid trip in this country. And we need to scrub our fucking brains and figure out, let's be honest. Do we want to be comfortable in bullshit and just lathered in bullshit? Or do we want to be righteous and truthful? Consequences be damned.
We could taint the water supply. That's what you're getting at.
Might as well, man. We've tried almost everything else. I mean, like I said, this is the reason that it's like, if communism worked, if every time communism was implemented, those countries were thriving, you don't think we'd already be communists? America is the biggest front-running piece of shit country in the history of the world that I can think of. We will just latch on to anything at the 11th and a half hour and then do a victory lap, AKA fucking World War II. I'm sorry, how long had that shit been going on before we fucking officially dipped our toe in that water? 1943? War was over in 45? The war had been going on since what?
41?
I mean, when you're in the middle of World War II, you didn't call it World War II, just like they didn't call it World War I. Germany was fucking around, and a whole lot of countries were finding out the hard way in the late 30s, man.
No, Pearl Harbor was what, 41, right? Or
44, I think. Yeah, 44. 94, I believe, was 43.
December 7, 1941.
41, okay.
So then, you're right. Mid-30s, and it took it coming to our fucking doorstep and be like, wait, what? Oh, hell no.
And still then, we didn't fucking send, like, huge amounts of fucking people until, what, a year or two later? I mean, dude, this is just America. It just, you are what your country is what your country is. There's no, you can argue and, well, we were meant to be this and we're supposed to be this, and you're right. And yeah, that's what we should aspire to. We have too many people wallowing in what we are instead of actually aspiring to be what we're supposed to be. That's the problem. And notice I said aspire, not act like it is that way, but aspire to that, because we're always going to fall short. There's always going to be fucking winners. There's always going to be losers. And there's always going to be someone coming in dead last. It's just, does that person really need to fucking die on the street of exposure, starvation, freezing to death, whatever the fuck? Does that really need to happen because you came in last in America? Like, I kind of think we can afford a social safety net to those who at least want one. And I mean, not a get you in the gears and keep you in the system so it validates my job safety net either. I'm talking here. Do you want help? We're willing to help, but there is a finite amount of help available, and there is an end time to this help. Make the most of it, or you were truly on your own. You've shown that you don't want help. You don't care. I mean, I don't think that's that much to ask. Apparently, that makes me a communist to my right-wing friends.
No, I'm with you on that. But also, it shouldn't be so hard to, like, we've gone over this. It seems to be super easy for people who don't need it to get it, and if people who need it, it seems hard for them to get it. These are my experience.
Well, it's because it's not a matter of it goes to who needs it. It's a matter of it goes to who knows how to play the game the best. And if you grow up in like abject poverty in the South, in inner cities and shit, you're probably coming from generations of people who've learned to game the system. And that's their job, is to know how to work the system to get the most out of it they can. And it's kind of a full-time job. If you don't think so, talk to anyone who tried to file for unemployment during the pandemic. How many hours they'd spend on the phone, like on hold, being hung up on, being transferred. No, you talk to this department, you need to talk to this department. That's the reality of bureaucracy, folks. That is a full-time fucking job. You could sit and they're only open during their hours. You can't call 24/7 and get hold of somebody. They're not that convenient. They're the government, and you better make yourself available to them, not the other way around. So yeah, I mean, I understand. That's how people get caught up in that bullshit. The problem is, can you get out of that once you're in it? Yeah, but it's really fucking hard. It's really hard. I mean, dude, that's why it's like, how many times have you watched a documentary about people who come from dirt poor backgrounds, and they were, they're telling their story, and it's, I was the first person to go to college. I was the first person in my family to do this, first person in my family to do this. Like, we used to take pride in it. Now it's like, you went to college. What'd you go to college for? Oh, I went to college. I got an MBA. And business? Fuck you, fucking capitalist cocksucker, baby murderer. What's wrong with you? Well, I was the first person to buy a house. Oh, you're a property owner? You think you can own Mother Nature? The fuck is wrong with you? Fucking fascist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Filthy
Nothing's
fascist
good
me.
enough.
No, yeah, I know.
Nothing's
It's the window's always being pushed. I mean, maybe we brought it up on this podcast. Maybe it's been brought up on another podcast I listened to. I don't know, but it's like, it seemed like once we got to gay marriage, it's like, okay, that's when it seemed all the trans stuff started. Okay, we got what we wanted there. Well, now if we don't have anything to complain about, so let's bring this stuff up now.
Well, what better way to get your agenda shoved down people's throats than to make it the hottest topic, no pun intended, for the teenage set? I mean, you remember our marketing class Dick Kernan taught.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he went down the pyramid of who actually fucking runs shit in this country as far as advertisers catering to. It's housewives and it's teenage girls, and then you start hitting your age demographics. But housewives, because even in 1999, here's an uncomfortable fact for you, most wives controlled where the money went. I know that runs counter to the narrative, but believe me, these are companies whose sole reason for existence is to keep making more and more profit. They may make a misstep, but they're going to identify who they got to pander to immediately, because that's how you keep the cash flow coming in.
Yeah, that's how you get paid.
End of fucking story. You may stop your internal dialogue. You are wrong if you disagree. The capitalist system you hate has proven you wrong. By the way, here's what I find funny. Instead of hearing this and cheering that, oh, wait a minute, we're the ones being pandered to the hardest? Well, yay, that's a victory for us. They just deny it and then take all the advantage of being pandered to. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people in this fucking country? Like, I sometimes wonder, I wish I had gone over to like North Korea and just been a fly on a wall for a decade and see if just to see us from somebody's eyes, somebody's government's eyes who hates us and are like, we have an antagonistic relationship with, and see how they view us, because they gotta view us as like, you're the most dumbass backwoods motherfuckers in the history of the fucking planet. Somehow you ended up in control. This is shame on humanity for allowing this to happen. I have to believe that we're looked at that way, because look at the bullshit. Look at the shit we have in this country and look at the shit we fight over. We don't talk about anything of substance. We're fighting over pronouns, microaggressions. This is what has been driving the culture wars for the better part of a decade now. And people can't get enough of it. And here's the problem. It's now been intertwined with legit politics, everyday politics. So you can't, because this is part of the Marxist philosophy. The personal is political. Everything is political. That's why everything has a political slant. You go see a Marvel movie. Believe me, that gay kiss you saw in the background, they knew exactly what they were doing when they put that in there. Just like they know exactly what they're doing when they edit it out for the Middle East and China. Okay? That is not by accident, but they will look you dead in the face and say, we're not pushing some sort of agenda. We're not trying to push some sort of pander to anybody. Really? Like, you truly believe you spend $2 billion, or excuse me, $200 million, $300 million on a movie, and you have accidents that end up on screen? Seriously? I know you're not a movie guy, Chris, but Stanley Kubrick never had an accident on screen, and he never had a Marvel movie budget. Okay, I'm not buying it, dude. I'm not. And here's the thing. He was doing it solely because it was his artistic vision he wanted to see exactly as he saw it in his head on the screen. Marvel's doing it for a much less honorable reason, to line the pockets of Disney.
Make the mouse money.
Exactly. You see where the hunt for profits above everything, where it leads us. You rail against it all the time. Capitalism kills and profits over people and property over people and blah, blah, and all this shit. And why are you standing up and clapping 1 month out of the year when fucking Disney changes their U.S. Twitter logo to a rainbow? You're being pandered to. That's not genuine. You've ran off all your genuine possible allies because they disagreed with you on one thing out of 100. Automatically, they're fascist, they're alt-right, they're this, they're that. And it happens on the right, too. The right does it all the time. I have family who look me dead in the face and say, Democrats are our mortal enemy. And I'm like, grow the fuck up. Seriously. Are you a Viking? You understand the Civil War has been over 100? Yeah, Civil War's been over 150 fucking years plus, dude. Come on. Grow the fuck up, man. All they are is people who get sucked up into bullshit. We all get sucked up into bullshit. None of this is fucking, you're not infallible. You're not perfect. You're gonna get caught up in some shit. Happens to me, happens to you, Chris, happens to Earl, happens to everyone listening right now. The sin isn't that. The sin is refusing to admit it and correcting yourself and going forward, making sure you don't put yourself in those situations again. That's where the sin lies. But now I'm talking about personal responsibility, and we all know that's a racist. Yeah, that's racist. So
can't be responsible for your own actions.
I guess we better end this before we somehow get even more racist and we start bringing up like, I don't know, learning how to wipe your own ass or something. I'm sure that's racist somehow too.
It's always good to just cut the racism off at the pass and remind you that we are on Twitter at Gen Exhausted Pod. We are on Facebook. Just search at Gen Exhausted Pod. It still says unregimented. I'm getting it figured out. Stop hassling me. Go to ChristopherMedia.net. Hit the Amazon banner or the PayPal button if you'd like to help us out. It is definitely Amazon season. So while you're getting all your Christmas shit from there, if you could click through our banner, we would appreciate it. And wherever you listen to us, please rate us and review us. You can listen to us everywhere. So if you like the show, help people find it. Rate us, review us, please, and thank you. And other than that, we'll see you next week.
All right, later, guys.
The world is spinning too fast. I'm unled Nike shoes to keep myself tethered to the days I tried to lose. My mama said to slow down, you must make your own shoes. Stop dancing to the music. I'm good, in a happy mood. Keep my groove on.
Here you go, get the cool shine. Get the cool shoe shine. Get the cool shoe shine. Get the cool shoe shine.
There's a monkey in the jungle watching a paper trail, caught up in the conflict between his brain and his tail. And if time's elimination, then we got nothing to lose. Please repeat the message, it's the music that we choose. Keep a mind groove on.
Get the cool shoe shine. Get the cool
bunk. Dead to the bunk. Dead to the bunk. Dead to the bunk.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Did she lock you in the attic?
Yep. No, I locked her in a room.
My brother is a liar. I've been told that I treat my kids like I'm a drill instructor.
You poured a pitcher of water on her face.
Yes.
What school of parenting did that come from? Who taught you to pour a pitcher of water in your child's face? You didn't want to have kids.
No, I did not.
All new Dr. Phil. Today at 3 on CBS 2.
Hey guys, it's Angie Martinez here with Dr. John Aknuk from New York Spine Institute, discussing how you help people live life with no pain. Why are people seeing you at the New York Spine Institute?
Because they're realizing that pain management isn't just about medications, but we can actually offer non-invasive office procedures that can help treat the source of pain and eliminate it completely.
How much has the industry evolved in the past 5 to 10 years?
Pain management has evolved drastically to add minimally invasive procedures that allow us to treat conditions without having to open a patient up and help those that have failed surgery in the past.
Should people be concerned about getting a procedure done?
No. Though there are risks with any intervention, the available technology and medical knowledge we now have has nearly eliminated the risks that patients are most concerned about.
Great catching up with you, Dr. John Aknuk. To schedule an appointment, dial pound 250 from your cell and say keyword no pain. Again, that's pound 250 keyword no pain, and tell them that Angie sent you.
Peacock is streaming your favorite shows, movies, live sports, breaking news, exclusive originals, and every live WWE pay-per-view. It's The Office, Chris Lee Knows Best, and Peacock original shows like Funky Brewster. Peacock, watch for free, upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.